Let's go! Okay, what's up, my dudes? How we doing today? A couple freaking exciting announcements. Number one, guess what? We're doing a ski pass giveaway over at our Instagram at shopbenetech.com, which is going to be down below. So make sure you go check that out. You got to do two things. You got to like the post, and you got to follow Shop Benetech. Just search on Instagram, Shop Benetech. We're going to do a, essentially the way it's going to work is if you like and follow, you're entered to win. If you want to boost your odds for every $10 that you spend on Shop Benetech, spelt like this. Oh, that's not it. Whoa, where is it? There it is. Oh, there it is. So every time you spend $10 on Shop Benetech, you're going to get entered to win. For every $10, you get an entry. So if you spend $100, you get 10 extra entries. So if you like it, follow us. It's one entry. So you can literally be like all of a sudden stacking up a bunch of entries, and we're going to do a ski pass giveaway, pretty much like up to $800. So I'll just like Venmo you $800, either go towards the previous pass or the next pass. So we're trying to get people hyped on our Instagram. And then I'm going to show you here. There it is. Hey. All right, so we're going to be doing that. So like the first things first, like go check that out. I'm going to put it in the comments. So I just put it there. Boom, click that. You're going to go to the Shop Benetech. We're going to be doing this. Boom, right here. Make sure that there we go. Size this a little bit better. This looks absolutely terrible. Oh, that's why. Hold on. We're doing that. Move this over here. This over here. Got to get my page all sorted. Okay, so Shop Benetech. That's our Instagram. And just boom, win, boom, win, boom. That's what we're doing. We're freaking vibing. Boom. That's what we're doing. Wide monitor. Okay, cool. Boom. So we're going to be doing that. That's first things first. So make sure you follow Shop Benetech. Also, if you're looking for goggles, jackets, jackets, neck tubes, beanies, tech hoodies, we literally have a bunch of stuff. So we already got a pass for this season. So essentially what we're going to do is I could either pay for a season or I give you $800 cash as a reimbursement. So like you should enter. If you already have a pass, guess what? I'm going to give you $800 towards that. If you don't have a pass, cool. Or I'm going to give you $800 and once this is over, if you win, you're going to get $800 to either pay yourself back or you can put it towards next year. So like literally it's a win-win-win-win-win-win-win. Win-win-win-win-win-win, right? You know what I mean? So that's what we're going to be doing there. So if you're interested, go do that. Sickest thing ever. Sickest thing ever. Also, so that's like what we're doing there because you have a chance to absolutely win. Shop. Yeah, so that's like our first. What are you doing? There we go. Boom. And if you got questions, hit me up. If you got questions, we're literally vibing. So just like a little bit of nerd detail here. So boom, win a free season pass. You go to shopbenetech.com, enter, boom, follow, boom. Share this post, boom. Every $10 spent on the Benetech store, extra entry, boom. So you can literally do that. This is our website. We spent so much time and energy on this. New gear, new jackets, new vibes, all sorts of sick stuff. Sick new hoodies, jackets. We got new puffies coming soon, which I'm super excited about. We also got goggles. We got all sorts of stuff. So like literally, boom, you belong here. All right, so got all that out of the way. If y'all have questions, please hit me up in the chat. Let's vibe. We got questions. The more you guys chat, the more we vibe, the more we hang out, the more awesome this is. So definitely love to have you guys come vibe and hang out and whatnot. So boom. Also, if you're interested in supporting the channel, feel free to donate. You don't have to, but any donation skips the line. A little bit more energy and extra energy and love towards that. That helps create content, vibe, build more content, dude. Instagram, TikTok is popping off right now. I'm so freaking pumped on that. So freaking pumped. And we also got this. Let's do this real quick. I'm just trying to get my life sorted right now, but as I'm getting my life sorted, definitely pop into chat. What you... Pop in the chat. Questions. What up, dude? Followed. Let's go. Barnes, dude. I appreciate that. Dude, let's go. I freaking appreciate that. Let's go. Let's see. Doing this. Yep. Sorry. Mute. There we go. Boom. What are we doing? Sorry, I'm just doing some technicality. Edit video. All right, so what questions do we have? Hopefully you guys are snowboarding, vibing, having the absolute best day of your life. If you're not snowboarding, I'm assuming vacation's coming up soon, which would be super sick. I'm gonna pin this. Jonathan B, yo, great freaking question, my dude. Yo! No way, Steven just gifted 10? Okay, guys, let's go. Okay, make sure you hype up Steven in the chat. Let's go. He gifted 10 gifted memberships to the chat. Let's go. Let's even get out of here. Just gotta chat. Joe, Brian, MB, let's go. Everyone, pretend, let's go. You guys, hype the dude up. He literally just gave you guys a membership. I appreciate that. Let's freaking go. Let's go, Steven. I appreciate that. Let's go. Let's go. Boom. Okay, cool. We got some dude, freaking Steven with a freaking dude coming in hot. Let's go, dude. I freaking appreciate that, dude. We're coming in hot. Does that mean he gets a spin? Does that mean he gets a spin? Spin to win. Spin to win. Gifted donations. All this stuff. We get a nice chance to like spin to win. Let's go. Should I do this whole live stream standing up? Oh, and he also gets a free sticker. Steven, hit me up with your address. I can also give you... hit me up with your address. I can send you some stickers. I also owe you that green jacket, so I can give you like a discount code. It's not a discount code, like a coupon code for it. Shoot me a DM on Instagram. Let's go! Dude, I freaking appreciate that. I don't know if you remember me, I had 2 back surgeries and my first day back on snow was Wednesday. Let's go, Nathan. Dude, that's freaking sick. Let's see, I could not make a full run without the most overwhelming fatigue, but I did it. Let's go. Yeah, it's pretty like intimidating, scary. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like going back out there, but dude, that is freaking sick. Let's go, Nathan. Big hype for you. Season pass for this old man. Let's go. I'm in. Let's go, dude. So yeah. Dude, stoked you're back, stoked you're feeling good, a little scary, a little exciting, but you'll get it back. I've had 2 hip surgeries and a bunch of issues with my hip. I've broken my back, blah blah blah, and yeah, it can be really challenging, but I'm glad you did it, and I'm glad there's a lot of positivity with it for sure. Ander, which one of the best combinations of binding positions for freestyle and free ride? I'm an extreme big fan of positive 15 in the lead foot, negative 15 in the back. That's what I use, but you should definitely experiment with like 12-12, 15-15 around that. I like the idea of having symmetrical stance, meaning the same angles on the lead and back, so that when I am doing freestyle 180s, 360s, 540s, switch tricks, switch whatever, that it all feels the same to me, whether I ride regular or goofy. Also, I pair that with a true twin camber board because I want my board, my bindings, my body to feel as symmetrical as possible. But granted, there is going to be some asymmetry within your own body because every time you sit on a chairlift, you have one... The way, yo, with the $20, I'm gonna finish this and then we're gonna hype the boy up. Let's go. There's gonna be obviously a little asymmetrical because like a lot of times humans walk upstairs, we use the same foot. That's actually gonna build more strength on one foot than the other. You're gonna sit on the chairlift with weight of your snowboard on one foot versus the other. So there's gonna be some muscular development on one side versus the other, but theoretically you're trying to make everything as like symmetrical as possible is like the goal. That's like the goal, whether that actually happens or not. So that's like what I like for the. That's what I like for the stance for sure. We also got freaking Dying to Fire. Let's go with the $20 donation. Yo, dog, I appreciate you, dude. Let's go. Where is that at? There we go. There we go. I got so many windows open, dude. Let's go. For some reason, my so weird. My thing isn't up. Filter, subscription, tips, community. This thing isn't like pause alerts, unpause alerts. For some reason, this thing is like not updating, but I appreciate that. Our boy Jose, there we go. Our boy Jose with a freaking $20 donation. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you using the link too. Let's go, dude. The link essentially is just like the link when somebody donates, let's just say easy math. You donate $100. When you do it through YouTube, they take 30%. So then I'm getting $70. Still thankful, don't get me wrong. When you use the link that's pinned, they take like 3 to 5%. So out of $100, I get 95. So essentially I get the dollar, which is pretty exciting. So I appreciate that. Easy math, easy math. Let's go. Sammy, had a question. Looking to get a new snowboard for ground tricks and buttering. Would you recommend? What would you recommend? Currently looking at the K2 World Peace. Honestly, the K2 World Peace is one of my favorite snowboards. Understand that it has for me, it was very soft, and the radial side cut seemed like it was pretty sharp, so I could make incredibly sharp turns, but that was really challenging on bigger and larger jumps. If you're not doing big, large jumps, then it shouldn't be a problem. I loved that board, had it. K2 hooked me up with it, and I was in love with it. It's a great jibby, flat ground, fun ground trick board. 100%. It's camber, so it has a little bit of integrity to it, but it's so soft that you can just do whatever you want, but you could go fast. So I love that. That would be like one of my favorite ones for sure. That would be like one of my top ones. Jonathan B with the question of how's your hip, man? It's interesting because like I do like a bunch of stuff on Instagram and everyone's like, let me move this over a little. Let me move this over a little bit. Let's see. Okay, so like I do a bunch of stuff on Instagram, as you see here. Like even like this trick right here, like this trick, oh, that looks so fun. Yeah, okay, so that trick looked fun. Like I ride for like 2 hours and like this kind of tricks like look fun, look easy. That stuff hurts, but I've also like have a high pain tolerance. So I end up like kind of dealing with it. And then the next day I'm pretty beat up. So I have like this like sharp stabbing pain in my hip. So I kind of just like fight through it. So then it looks like, oh dude, you're fine. Like, oh, that looks easy. You're like 100% healed. But in the inside, like, dude, I'm freaking cooked, man. Like this stuff is like, yeah, this stuff like hurts a lot. But at the same time, I'm thankful to be snowboarding, thankful to be riding and vibing on that kind of stuff for sure, which is, yeah, it's a double-edged sword, right? Double-edged sword. Oh, I'm going to try to catch up on so many more of these chats. Dalton, what up, dog? Hardest wipeout that you've ever had? I would say, honestly, probably the hardest one that I've had / the one that probably impacted my life the most was when I was 17, I did a back 7 on a half pipe. So then I landed on top of the deck with my board like this, and my board sprung, and I flipped about 20 feet down to my back, and then ended up breaking my back in 3 places. With that said, it took me like years mentally to overcome the fear of going fast, hitting jumps, catching air, hitting a rail, hitting moguls, doing anything. That was really hard. And so my goal was to be a professional snowboarder. I broke my back, and that absolutely derailed that plan. And then I ended up getting a job as a snowboard coach, and then started going down the path of like snowboard education, which is like obviously why we're all here today. So I'm thankful that I broke my back. It was really hard, man. It was a really challenging time in my life for sure, but luckily we're here. And you know, maybe I don't know. It's like crazy because like how many events have happened in my life to like lead me to where I am right now, which is like absolutely crazy. Like just the opportunities that I've like gotten, the amount of people I've connected with, like the amount of impact that I've had. I posted on TikTok today, like some dude's like, oh, I was about to end snowboarding and I just hopped on TikTok, and the first thing was like one of my videos. Actually, I want to show you this real quick because I don't even know if I'm logged in on TikTok actually. I get real paranoid about TikTok, or no, just like anything, because I get like, oh yeah, it was this one right here. I'm gonna make sure this is muted. Sitting in the truck, was on break and done for the day, but first video, I'm gonna try this again. So this video that he's referring to was it this one right here? Nope. That one's pretty fun too. It was like this one. So he's like, homie's like done for the day, right? Oh, and I want to show you real quick. So like done for the day, and I just like posted this video, and this is the first one, the first comment right there. He's like, I'm done. And it's like been crazy because like I broke my back, had to go through a lot of ups and downs in my life, but like the reason I create the content is like this dude's inspired to go snowboard. Like gave me the motivation and tips and try it again. Dude, that's really like what I've done. So like back like full circle, like as much as like the whole back thing like was terrible because like I wasn't able to like achieve my goal of becoming a professional snowboarder, I was able to like impact positively people's lives, which I'm like pretty pumped on. Okay, Zay, what up? Question about the Insta360. Do you use any other mounts or selfie besides the action stick? It's actually in my car. I don't I don't have it right now, but yeah, I just use the Insta360 stick. One thing I've been doing, which I'm really excited about, is I bought this thing just like for like 20 bucks, and it has like all these compartments. And then now I have like, here's my microphone, here's my double batteries. If you can see that, that's like a battery charger. Here's like more batteries. Here's like all my adapters and connectors. They sit in here. I got extra Insta360s. I got like mounts, and then the selfie stick poles sit here. And then like at night, I just pop it up here. I charge everything, and then at the end of the day, I take this to go snowboarding, and then I put this in my car, keep it all organized. And then when I'm done, I just bring it home, and then I can just keep everything together. But of course, my Insta360 is actually over at my, it's in the living room because I was doing some editing. But as far as the mounts, I just use the selfie stick. Like literally, it's for the 360 X4. I just have the selfie stick screwed right into the bottom of it, and that's it. It does come with a case, like a little bit of a protective case. I put that on there. Other than that, like it's just straight up Insta360. With the Ace Pro, I do have a little bit more of a different configuration. I do have like an adapter for a microphone. I do have an adapter for the whole the microphone has like a shoe mount that sticks to it. And then I got an L bracket that allows me to bring it vertical and horizontal. And then it goes to the 360, which has like a magnet adapter to the selfie pole, so that when I'm filming, I can be like, my dude, Jonathan, can you make it vertical, horizontal for Instagram, YouTube? It's all like easy. So that's what I do for sure. Steven. Yeah, dude, I owe you some stuff, dude. Hit me up. I'm just like, I should just cash out. Get you what you need to get, dude. I'm blowing it. Tips for the first 360. First tip for the 360 is learn it flat ground, because you're going to learn the mechanics of it. You're going to learn like where to look, how to be balanced, because if you're doing stuff like out of balance, it's pretty hard. I have this both on Instagram and TikTok. Let me pause this real quick so you can see it, and I should have some audio.
360. Now I get deep. Here's
So
three
this
quick
one,
tips
yeah.
to learning a backside 360, either over a roller on flat ground. Tip number one, I would suggest doing a flat ground 360 that looks like this. I'm actually gonna do a heel side turn, and then I'll set up on a toe side, wind up my lead shoulder, and as I throw it, I'm gonna look in the direction I'm going. So heel side, toe side, look, so that I can start training my body and mind to keep my chest up and my eyes going in the direction of travel. Now, tip.
Right? Doesn't that make sense? If I can actually like practice it flat ground, then it allows me to understand the mechanics in a slow, controlled environment. Make sure you don't catch an edge, but you're able to literally do the 360, move 360, figure it out, and then...
Tip number two / step number two is I want to wind up and I'm going to throw a little bit, but I might even try to do like a 180 and continue the rotation. That's going to allow me to understand how to start throwing it. But if I under rotate, I'm actually developing the skill of not catching an edge, which means you're not going to die. To make that a little bit more awesome, I actually want to wind up a little bit harder and throw a little harder and try to get to...
And notice that I actually did a 270, came up short intentionally, and I was able to lift up my toes and skid it around. That does two things. It trains your body and mind to know that if you under rotate, that's totally okay. But as soon as you land on your heels, notice that I finished the trick, which means I'm training my body how to do this trick appropriately.
To my heel edge, and then finish the 360, then eventually I can do a flat ground 360 using the same mechanics that we just learned. And the number one tip is make sure you're looking in the direction you're traveling. Notice that my head completes the rotation and allows the trick to happen. And then when you're feeling more comfortable, put it on a jump, a roller, or a side hit.
If you're digging this style of content,
Yeah, definitely like, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, does that make sense? I'm able to create that kind of stuff on that. Let me also show you this real quick. I think this is also like a super useful thing for, and this is like, I'm trying to get people to understand that this is like to do it this way. So like, let's just say like here. So this is my feed. I got Angry Snowboarder, video game stuff and snowboard stuff. And then down here, you can't see it. There's dirt bike stuff. So that's my life. That's what I watch on YouTube. But if you just go like Tommy Bennett 360, then I have like so many videos. How to frontside 360. Oh, how to backside 360. I'm actually coaching an athlete this. How to 360. Oh, look at back in the day I had glasses. What a nerd. Let's go. So there's like all of that stuff. So that's one way that you could look for, like, use YouTube as a resource of just going back through and be like, all right, Tommy Bennett carving, Tommy Bennett stance, Tommy Bennett wax. Then you're going to be able to like find what you're looking for. It's Instagram, TikTok is a little bit harder with that, which is super frustrating because you're like, hey, post a video on how to do a 360. I'm like, dude, I posted like 50 videos on how to do a 360, but it's not searchable, right? So, all right, moving on. I'm a little behind in chat, but keep asking questions if you got them. So yeah, we got some questions in here. Chat. What else we got? Let's see. Moving on. What do we got? Hardest wipeout. We covered that. Zay, we covered that. Zo Rock. What up, dog? Tommy Bennett. Yo, what up, Tommy? What is your opinion on Crash Pad's tailbone protector? I hurt my tailbone bad and was wondering if they actually work. I'm a big fan of just wearing them for two reasons. One, it helps keep my pants up. Two, if I can give myself, like, you know, especially with like a tailbone or like tailbone and hips, if you can give yourself like a 10% reduction, 20%, like, it's going to be like, that helps, right? If you fall on your butt on moguls and rails or jumps, like having that, the goal is to have crash pads that work, but doesn't feel like you're wearing them. Because if you feel like you're wearing them, you're not gonna wear them. So like, I used to wear a back protector all the time, but when I would try to do a backflip, the back protector would hit me in the back of the neck, and then it would actually cause me to crash. I think back protectors are incredible, and if you can find one that's comfortable, and I should probably start wearing mine again. I just feel like, for me, I haven't been wearing it because I'm not doing anything gnarly. I'm like all washed up and my hip hurts. But I definitely recommend crash pads. I thought about designing, creating my own crash pads, but I got to a point where I'm like, I'm really focused on Benetech versus like this other adventure. There's some other things I want to do and create and like blow up, but I need to like focus my time and energy. But crash pads are definitely like a good suggestion. Hey, do we need to wear pants in here? I mean, that's an odd question, but whatever you want to do. Give the sticker to a kid. Cool, I'm down with that. Any plans for 2025 spring camp? No, but I do have a plan of doing camp. If you guys are interested in coming to camp, like you literally want to be like better at snowboarding, like come ride with me. Like we do this summer camp. A couple people, like we've had quite a people like in there. If you just search like tbsnowcamps.com. We already have our dates available. We have our dates available. If you're interested, we have stuff here. You got questions, you literally could just reach out to us. But we got pricing, dates, structure, all our stuff is all here. Testimonials, we got a bunch of stuff. So you're interested in camp, working with me, my team, my squad, come ride. Steve's there. Steve's already signed up. Steve's vibing. He's been there for like this would be his 4th season in a row. Like Steve's been like coming out vibing, dude. It's so sick. Like he like helps me run like the wax clinic and stuff. Like he's got like such a good vibe. So we definitely stoked on summer camp. Like you literally get to like ride with me. Like summer camp is more like come ride vibe, like pretty sick, honestly. Come ride vibe, and the best part is you like vibe with a bunch of people that like love snowboarding and want to be better, like improve just like you, which is super cool. Physio, what up, dog? Do you know any people with ACL surgery and how their came back to snowboarding is gone? There's a girl, I don't even know if I can find her on the Instagram. I'll show you. This girl blew out her knee and she's like rides like strong AF. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, this girl right here, she rides for 32 GNU. She's sponsored. She's like a gnarly snowboarder. She's blowing her knee out. She has like double backflips. Like she's like a good snowboarder, just like a vibe. She's blowing her knee. She's back strong. Obviously, she's like sending it in the pipe and like, oh, that's a hip. Sorry, she's like still sending it. So there's definitely like a back, like a freaking McTwist. That's sick. That's actually pretty hard. Like a lot of people. Oh, what? That's after she blew her knee out. She came back like strong. Like the confidence and the courage to like come back strong and just like kill it. And it's weird because I'm going to try it. Let's go through it one more time. I want to pause it on one thing just so we all understand what's going on here. I'm going to see if I can do this right. Okay. Just so you know, this is a box. This is not a jump. That's plastic. So she's having to come off with no edge because she would like lose control. So there's a box over here. It's more like a wall ride. So think about like this book is a wall ride and she's shooting off this way and she's doing a freaking back rodeo in like with like such confidence and authority after she blew her knee out. Look at that. Boom. No problemo. Pretty sick, right? Like, yeah, so there's plenty of people who have done that. I've known plenty of people who come back for sure. Saul, what up, dude? I'm planning to ride Japan next year, and I thought you've been before. I was wondering where specifically. So, great question. On Japan is incredible. Oh my gosh. So I went to Tokyo. So I flew into Tokyo, we got there at the night, spent the night there the next day, and then that following day. So we spent like a day and a half theoretically in Tokyo, and incredible. Okay, if you're going to Japan, go to Tokyo and go to, I don't know what it's called, but find their snowboard district. Okay, one of the most amazing things you'll ever experience as a snowboarder. You're gonna go to this shop that, imagine your normal local shop, one floor, relatively sized. Imagine having 6 stories of a snowboard shop. And it's literally like hard goods, soft goods on another level, like blah, blah, blah. Like, this is like an entire building vertically stacked of snowboard stuff. And then the very, very top, this is the kicker. The very top, there's one level of ski gear. Incredible. I love it. I love it so much. So check out that. Also, I've been to Niseko. I've been to Rizitsu. I've been to Hakuba Valley, which has a bunch of different resorts. So definitely I checked out like the northern part and the southern part of the country, and they're pretty freaking sick. So, so cool. I want to go back for sure. What is the diagnosing with my hip? Or am I doing PT? So yeah, big shout out to my boy, Apollo PT. His name's Josh. He runs his own company. He literally like drives you and meets you. So he's working with me, and he's been working on my hip a lot. And so there's like, the thing is, the doctor said it could be this, this, or this. So there's like, they don't actually know what it is. It could be like many different things. So I have somebody working with me, and he's like does a bunch of stuff. So it definitely helps, but I'm like not fully like pain free yet. And the doctors have no idea. What are the plans for summer camp? To absolutely send it. Jose, what's up, dog? Let's see, Sloth. How to enter the giveaway, or is it over? Dude, great question. If you go to two things. One, if you're on Instagram, and I'll pull up the screen here in a hot second. So how to enter, you go to this. Here's how you enter. You're going to go to Shop Benetech, which is on our Instagram account. Shop Benetech. You're going to go here. You're going to click this post. Now on this post, you're going to read this. When it's free pass, or you get reimbursed. So I'm literally going to like either buy you a pass, or I'm just going to give you $800 and you can put it towards this year's pass, next year's pass, whatever you want. You got to follow, to be entered, you got to follow Shop Benetech, our Instagram account, and then like this post, okay? After that, if you want to boost your odds of winning, you're going to share this post with your crew. You can tag them. You're going to get more entries. And then you can shop. For every $10 you spend, you're going to get an additional entry. So if you spend like, I'm going to buy $100 worth of stuff, you're going to get 10 entries, okay? So pretty sick. It's that simple, right? So we're going to be doing this from now till January 30th. So this is going to be quite big. And the intent is to like get people to be aware of our company, get people to share it, get people excited. Also, give back. Like somebody's gonna win a pass, and again, it's like money to put towards like next year, which is like super sick. Super sick. So yeah, that's how you do that. And then when you go to like Shop Benetech, it's gonna be here as well, giveaway. Big shout out to Hillary. She did all this graphic design. I did not. That's me snowboarding and not crying. Pretty sick. Then we got all our stuff here, which is super sick. We got jackets. I'm so stoked on these jackets. Boom. We got jackets, we got goggles, we got all sorts of stuff. So if you're interested in checking all that stuff out, definitely do that for sure. I'm doing that for sure. What else we got in here? My dudes got more questions. How do we enter? We got that one. What chat is he looking at? I'm looking at this chat, but I'm just really high up there, bro. Sloth is like, yo, dog, where you at? And I'm like, up there. Same chat, just really far up there. Sorry, I'm like a little behind the chat, trying to get into some questions. Let's see. Okay. Boom. What other questions we got? We got scrolling through. Jacob, what up, dog? Have you ever used the cardo? My stepmom got it for my birthday this week for me and my girlfriend, but didn't use it at Bear yet. I haven't. A couple of those companies have approached me recently, and I personally am not. I'm not really into it. It could be really cool. You're like riding down, and you're like, hey, watch out! You're about to get hit by a skier or a snowboarder or a snowmobile, right? I think that's like the situation is cool, but I also like being able to ride down and be in the moment and feel how my board's turning and riding through the trees and not having somebody at any time just like yap in my ear. And then I'm like, what? And then run into a tree. So I am not necessarily, they've hit me up and I haven't done any I haven't done anything with them because I just don't know if I really believe in the product. But for some people, it's going to be amazing. Yo, should I detune my contact points if my main goal is to carve? Here's my thought on contact points. If your main, and this might be not what everyone says, but like when you're snowboarding, and I'm going to make sure that we can see this. When you're snowboarding, I like to detune from the contact points out. For those that don't know, essentially, if you're laying your board flat, where is the last spot that your board is in contact with the ground? And then from that point, that's your contact point. I would detune from that point to the nose and actually round the shenanigans out of this. And like, it's hard to show on video, but this is absolutely rounded where this is not. This is sharp, this is round. If I was primarily carving or riding half pipe, I would say yes, I would detune. And here's why. I like to have a predictable turn and control of my snowboard, which means as soon as I engage, I know my shape of my turn is going to be really good. Now, the problem with not detuning your contact points is imagine this part right here. Now, it has a different shape than everything else out here. Now, as you're starting to turn, your board flexes. Well, this part of the snowboard could grip. Now, the problem with it gripping is it grips too much and you become edge locked. Edge locked means your board is literally gripping so hard and uncontrollably that your board goes like this and you're not ready for it. So I detune here so that when I'm intentionally carving, I'm carving and I can control it. Now, if I want to stop the carve, I'm no longer an edge lock, I can control it. So 100%, if I'm carving, riding big mountain, riding park, I want that same control by detuning. Because imagine you like your board kind of gripped off of a jump. Imagine you're carving across the hill and you grip into the woods, like, right? That sounds like pretty freaking gnarly and dangerous, right? So as far as like, would I do that? 1000%. And I hope that answers anybody's question about like, what the heck is contact points and detuning and stuff. Let's see what else we got here. What do you think about stickers on boards? I love stickers on boards. If you're, yo, we just got a freaking super chat. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna answer this question, then we're gonna get back into it. I think snowboard. I like to put stickers on a snowboard if for me, like even when I was a competitive athlete or now, I don't want to give you free publicity unless like there's a mutual exchange. So like, cool, I'm going to represent my own company, Benetech. If I'm getting sponsored by other companies, I'll put them on there. So somebody sees my board, like, oh, you're legit. In the snowboard industry, if you just have like a Red Bull sticker on it, it's like, it's not necessarily like going to help the credibility, if that makes sense. That essentially is like almost false advertising. So I'm not into it. But that's just me. That's myself. Yo, Luke, what up, dog? With a $5 donation, dude. I freaking appreciate that. Let's see. Let me answer that question. There we go. Okay, so cheers from Angry. Yo, no way, dude. How's recovery going? Appreciate that. New Yannick looks sweet. Also, balls and nuts. Dude, let's go. So I appreciate the $5 donation, Luke. Angry Snowboarder, classic. You saw, I don't know if you were there, but when I was going through my like YouTube homepage feed, I guess, like Angry Snowboarder video popped up, which is super funny. Also the Yonex is freaking sick. I'm definitely stoked on it. It's stiff where I like a stiffer board because I want to be able to hit big jumps and feel comfortable, and it's definitely pretty sick. Cameraman Snow, what up, dog? So I'm definitely super stoked on that. So thanks for the $5 donation. You also get a freaking wherever this is. We're going to spin. Let's go. Win a sticker, my dude. It says win a sticker. Hit me up on Instagram, and I can send out some stickers. I'm gonna write your name down on my master sheet. Luke, just hit me up on Instagram, and I'll get you some stickers. Yeah, I appreciate that, dude. Let's go. Cool. There we go. Boom. Tommy likes big jumps. He cannot lie. Exactly. Yvonne, what up, dog? Dude, how? Yeah, let's go, Luke, dude. Hit me up on Instagram. I got like a sticker pack. I got some like Benetech stickers I'll send your way. I'll ship them out. Let's go, dude. Appreciate that. Let's see. How to deal with the feeling when doing ollies that the snowboard feels slippery and it seems that can't press it down while in motion. The same happens when I'm trying to ollie off of an edge in the back. One thing, yo, Bo, what up, dog? One thing that I would say that a lot of people struggle with, and this may be what's happening to you, is if I have my belly button right here and I have it way too far. Oh, no. Hopefully that goes back on. That dude just popped so freaking hard. I might have to glue that back on. That's unfortunate. So, if my belly button's way back here, then my board definitely wants to slip out. So what I'd rather you do is, yes, get your belly button stacked over your binding, but pull up your lead leg, and that's gonna help flex the board and get that camber to work. But notice that I'm not out of balance, because if you're leaning way too far back, you're gonna slip out. So think about being a little bit more neutral and retracting that lead leg more, and it's gonna significantly help that ollie and that feeling of slipping out. It's just because your pressure management is too far over the tail, if that makes sense. Steven says, baby got backside 360, let's go. What is your honest opinion on the transition from Burton step-ons to traditional bindings? I finally made the jump to Union Forces. Can't wait to ride them. I personally love the way that a traditional binding feels on my foot. I love it. I like that I can crank down the ankle strap and feel hugged and solid. I also feel like I like how my toe is like holding me in, right? It's just like a very comfortable, nice hug. And so that's what I would say. The transition might be a little bit interesting. It's kinesthetically, meaning like how it feels, is going to feel a little bit different. I like it more, so I think you're going to be fine. But with like the sensory overload of the way it feels might feel a little different. So let's go. But I think you're gonna be stoked on it. Day job Shredder. Hey Tommy, how's it going? Had my first legit park day yesterday. Let's freaking go. We also got a $10 donation from our boy Vince. Yo Tommy, the The 182 butter looks fun, and I'm gonna try it tomorrow. Thanks for the tips. Let's go. Dude, I freaking love that. Also got Jacob with the freaking $20 donation. What are you guys doing? You guys are gnarly. Jacob, I'm gonna get to that in 1 second. I wanted to show.
Let me know by liking.
I wanted to show this one off that what Vince is talking about. So I just posted this not too long ago. I'm gonna mute this. Look at this thing. Just a little 180 to a butter. Let's go back. I'm gonna start it over. Back one, butter, but I like the rest of it is like hold it, and I lift up that back leg and keep the nose on the ground and then bring it underneath. Ooh, it's so fun. I was like, yo, Jonathan's my filmer, dude. I was like, yo, film this. This one looks fun, dude. Let's go. So thank you so much. We gotta give Vince a freaking spin to win on the donation freaking. Yeah. Gotta make sure I go the right way. Okay, you want a sticker? Vince, let me know if you want some stickers. We can meet up. I can send them to you. We'll link up, dude. Let's go. Okay, do you think goofy or regular stance eventually become dominant over the other? Says Jacob with a $20 donation. I'm riding a neutral, your recommendation, and stressing because goofy and regular both feel good in different ways. Also, any toe side turn tips? Okay, two things. I would say like the goal is to be as even as possible so that you don't have one that's like more dominant the other if you're trying to ride park. If you're like, I want to do 360s and 540s and hit jumps, all of a sudden, like, I'm trying to find like an analogy and I don't have one right now, but all of a sudden you're like, okay, I just doubled the amount of potential fun that I could have because I could do a 180 my dominant stance or my normal stance. And then the second one, I can double my fun because I can do 180 the other way because I'm capable of riding both. That's actually an extreme advantage. Now, let's just say you don't have absolutely zero interest in that and you want to maybe become way better at just carving. Well, then yes, I would say find one foot that's more dominant and just focus on that and just carve. If you want to ride just big mountain with no spins, then ride one because you're going to spend more energy in one, perfecting, becoming more proficient. That's worth your time. So ultimately, you got to ask your question, do I want to be freestyle and do some tricks and like ride switch, ride regular, have fun and butter and vibe? Or do I want to like do one, become more dominant in one, and then go down this path? That's where I would answer. For me, my answer would be like, I want to be good at both so I can go ride switch, regular, blah, blah, blah. The other cool benefit of riding switch, and I was going to film a video on this the other day, but like imagine you're traversing across the hill. Well, if I was regular, my back's uphill and that's kind of dangerous. So I would actually switch and do a 180 now that I'm riding goofy with the front side of my body facing uphill going this way. Now it's actually a safer move because I can visually see where everyone is versus being blind to a dangerous slope, right? Going from one side of the slope to the other, pretty sketchy. So riding switch definitely has its benefit. What if your leg gets tired? Just ride switch. What if you break an ankle strap and you can only ride the switch down, right? There's a lot of benefits to it, but ultimately that's what I would answer that. Now, as far as the toe side, I would definitely recommend knee steering, which means you have 60% of your weight over your lead foot and you're keeping your spine upright, your lead shoulders anticipating where you're going, but you're using knee steering. That's going to be like your best bet. Now, knee steering for your heel side edge essentially means you're like taking your leg and you're like rotating your knee. And I'll show you on this guy, even though it busted his ankle. Let's just say that like we're trying to do like a heel side turn. I'll actually make sure I'm like low and I'll take the knee and I'm just rotating the knee. As I rotate the knee, the board wants to follow. That's for heel side, 60% of the way to lead foot. To go toe side, the shin is going to press to the front of the boot directly over the toe strap and you're going to do this. Now as you press that shin, you can see his shin is pressed forward. As I press that shin, it's actually going to grip the board and help you rotate. That's going to make toe side way easier. But notice that shin's forward. Where's his belly button? It's up. His belly button's up. He's in like a good athletic position. So those are my suggestions for all of the tongue twisters that you got for me. Oh, we got a free spin. Let's go. Make sure you like the stream, like Instagram, and sign up. Shop Benetech. Go to Shop Benetech. If you guys just come in here, go to Shop Benetech. You can literally have a chance to win a season pass, which means that you're just gonna go to Shop Benetech, like this post, and follow us. Plus, if you want some bonus entries, check out all that. So let's go. Chance to win a season pass. Da, 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 da. All right, what other questions we got in here, my dudes? Let's fucking go with the donations. Appreciate y'all. Bo, have you ever upgraded boot boas to wire cables? I destroy layup boosters. I haven't. That's a good idea. I haven't. I definitely would check that out. Totally not sure. Luke says, Tommy, wait the wheel. Yeah, I waited the wheel, but messed up and made it only sticker giveaways. I'm trying to get you guys hyped. You know what I mean? Adventures, what up, dog? Tommy, woo woo, your videos have helped a lot and just wanted to say thanks for the help over the last few seasons. Let's go, dude. I'm stoked that the content has helped. That's a vibe. Day job shredder. Hey, Tommy, my question is, what is a good way to help soften the landings off of the feature in the park? People are blowing me up on the phone. Okay. What I would say is like three big things. One is like ideally the park is designed in a way that here's a feature and there's a down slope. So your goal is to be able to come in with enough speed to land on that downslope, because if there's a downslope, all that impact energy, instead of being down, is going down and out, so that's going to lessen the impact. Number two, think about keeping your spine upright and absorbing the impact with your ankle, knees, and hips. And so, bummed about this dude's binding. I'm so annoyed. So ideally, when you squat, and a good squat mechanic is you're going to go shins down and squat like this, right? So you get like a full range of motion, but notice that the spine is upright. When you're in a more spine upright position, that means you're balanced, right? So if your spine is hunched over, well, then you're going to fall over and you're less likely to absorb and more likely to fall. So you got to keep the spine upright, shins to the front of your boot, and get the full range of motion. And then speed definitely helps. So that's my 3 thoughts on that. Jacob says, definitely have more fun at park. Thanks for the help. I'm going to try keeping in what I've been. Just lost it in chat. Kind of doing both. I think it's such an advantage. The sooner and the earlier you can literally the sooner that you can learn and practice it, that's such an advantage. There's so many advantages of being like riding switch, which ultimately is the goal. I think that's pretty cool. Johnny, what up, dog? Do you think it's okay to wear a calf brace in between my legs and the actual boot? I've heard it's not ideal to have anything between your leg and the boot for mobility issues. I think at the end of the day, like, yeah, there's an ideal and there's an ideal and there's a real, right? Ideally, should we be doing that? Maybe, maybe not. But if it's a situation where it allows you to snowboard, do it. If it allows you to be pain-free, do it, right? That's where it's like, there's like ways to do stuff in the best way possible, but that's so subjective to you, right? Ideally, I think knee steering is the absolute best way to do turns. And I think everyone should do it. Period. Period. I think it's like the most incredible. But you're like, oh, maybe I have like a broken shin and I can't press the front of my shin against the boot. Okay, well then you're gonna have to adjust and adapt. So I think like at the end of the day, Johnny, you gotta do what you gotta do, man. And if that's what you gotta do, you gotta do. Yo, Steven's like, one way to land is land in your board and not your face. That's not a bad point. I love that. Will you do a sharpen guide? Let me actually look, because I'm pretty sure I've done one. I think I've done one. Oh yeah, so check this out. You go to Tommy Bennett Tune, and you'll see here, it just is like an in-depth wax guide. I literally filmed one, and I talk about waxing and tuning. So I do have it all there. Check that one out. Yeah, and I probably should word that differently, because maybe people don't know what like tuning is, but yeah, that video did okay. It didn't perform as well as I expected it to, but also a lot of people just don't wax and edge their own board. They give it to somebody else. So, Johnny, let's go. So you said 100% thank you. Just watched that knee steering video you did. Let's go, dude. Love to freaking hear it. Matt, do you know how to ensure that all your Burton step on bindings won't slide off the rail? Because I went snowboarding twice already this season and don't know why they kept slipping. Matt, are you doing EST bindings? Are you doing reflex bindings, question mark? Also, I'm assuming that you're talking about like slipping through the channel system, which means your bindings are either going pushing out, pushing in, having a little bit of flexibility. Will you just follow up with EST versus reflex bindings? And then I'm going to give you my thoughts, but that should not happen. Should not happen. Adamus DH Racing, greetings from Poland. What's up, dude? Great channel. Thanks for all the good instruction. Let's go, dude. I appreciate you vibing and hanging out. Arc 6 Gaming. Is it true that spins are easier on bigger jumps than smaller jumps? All the core riders at my resort say so, but it's scary. Okay, here's a funny story. There's this guy named Chris Corning. He's a professional snowboarder. He's like one of the top US dudes ever. He's incredible. Dude's doing 2160s. Like, this dude's gnarly. If you want to watch a video of how gnarly this dude is, just type in Tommy Bennett, Chris, and then Corning. I believe it's spelled something like that. Watch this video. We're just going to watch the intro. That's on the small line. This dude's gnarly. I do a quick little This dude's gnarly, but watch. We're going to watch this real quick. Oh, yeah. It's coming up. He does a flat ground front flip. I'm not going to give away the video, but I'm going to show you one thing real quick. We're going to go watch this. What? That's that dude. Are you kidding me? That is so freaking insane. And that dude's freaking gnarly. But yo, what? Dude, no question. Just want to support TB with a freaking $100 donation from Calvin, our boy Vu. Let's go, dude. You're freaking God. I've seen Calvin like up at Keystone, and I see him. I'm like, what? Like, I gotta hype up the boy, dude. He's a freaking legend. So I appreciate the absolute banger $100 donation, dude. You're gnarly. I appreciate that, dude. Hope to see you at Keystone again. I think I'm gonna ride Keystones on Wednesday, but I might not ride there tomorrow, even though tomorrow's Wednesday. So maybe I'm a liar. I don't know. Appreciate the $100 donation, dude. Freaking goat. No question, though. Back to the big jump question. He was saying that, yes, like spinning big jumps is easier because you have more time to process information. So think about going on a 50-foot jump and you have to accumulate a 360-degree rotation on 50 feet. Per foot traveled, it's not many degrees, right? Compared to a back three on a small jump or roller, you have to do 360 degrees. It's like 100 degrees a foot, right? If you're going really small, it's like really fast. So it's really hard to do that. But that's coming, and this advice is coming from somebody who's comfortable with big jumps, who's comfortable. Oh yeah, by the way, we should definitely hype up freaking Vu in the chat, right? Should we just hype the boy up, dude? Let's go. But as you're hitting like a 30-foot jump, if you're comfortable with a 30-foot jump, yes, technically it's way easier. I'd throw a 360 on a big jump like this hard. On a small jump, I'm like this. But what a lot of people don't consider is being in the position of somebody who's not comfortable with jumps. They're not familiar with being comfortable. They're not familiar with somebody who's not comfortable spinning. Like, that is what so many people miss. But me as a snowboard coach, worked with a lot of people, that's terrifying. I would rather you learn a 360 on a side hit, a roller flat ground. Once you kind of understand the mechanics, then being able to take it to a big jump. A lot of people make the mistake of doing a 360 off a big jump and take too many speed checks. Now they knuckle blow up and hurt their knees. So like, is it easier? Yes. If you know how to do a 360. There is an asterisk on that. Yes, it's easier if you know how to do 360. So just be aware. Andrew. Oh, wait, hold on. We're going to go to Matt's question because Matt was in here. EST Genesis. So like two big things with that is when you're make sure you're using fresh new screws on your ESTs. So they usually have Loctite on them and you want to crank down with like a big screwdriver. Like a big screwdriver, and I'm literally like here, and this is the technique that I use, right? I got elbow grease in it, and I'm cranking. Obviously, you don't want to do it too much because you don't want to absolutely destroy your board, your bindings, or anything like that. But if they have the Loctite already on the screw, I would suggest using those and new ones. I would not suggest adding more Loctite because Loctite can eat up base plate or plastic, so it could actually be really bad. But when you do an EST, it tends to But when it comes to EST, those tend, for me historically and from the experience that I've had with many different people, ESTs get way more loose than your reflex. So, not saying you need to do it now. Later, when you buy a new pair, I love Burton. Words are hard. I love Burton cartels, but I always get the reflex because I find them to not get loose. But for now, you're gonna have to crank it down, and you're gonna have to like get new screws. That's what I would recommend to like solve the problem. The kind of a temporary fix, at least solve the problem temporarily, I guess. Andrew, implementing the crayon method for waxing this season because of your waxing video. Appreciate all you do. Okay, in all transparency, I learned that from the U.S. team. So, for example, let's just use simple math. This brick right here, let's just say you had a piece of wax. Now, when you're competing at the U.S. team level, you're competing in border cross, which is racing, downhill skiing, which is go fast as you can, right? A tenth of a second could be a big deal because that could be me. For border cross, essentially, if you can be a tenth of a second faster, that means when everybody starts, I'm gonna be just like a little ahead of you. I get to control the race because I'm ahead of you only because of the start. So like wax is extremely important. Downhill racing, obviously you just wanna go faster because faster wins. So they'll have like a brick of wax that's like a 1 inch, so like this much by this much, like a 1 inch by 1 inch, that would be like $250. So then they'll do the same thing where they'll like rub the wax on the board and then they'll cork in to make it, to corking it in essentially creates friction and allows the wax to melt to adhere to the board so that it can wax, right? So because it's so expensive, you don't necessarily want to like drip it on, but they'll have a brick of wax like this big, that would be $250 as well. So imagine like I did in that video, I talked about like, this right here is 4 waxes. I got 4 waxes out of that. Now imagine this board, this one cost me like $150, right? That's a potential, right? By using the drip on method, you would get 3 waxes out of this, where I could probably get close to like 10 and 12. So through like an economical standpoint, I'm like, well, I'm trying to just make it as efficient as possible, right? So I'm stoked that you love that method. And then I just watched a video the other day and like, here's like, kind of a weird balance that I gotta find within like the social media content. There was a board company that was talking about like, hey guys, come, this is how you wax your board. And they're just dripping, splashing, making a mess. And they're trying to teach everybody how to do waxing. Now, do I say, hey, that's actually maybe not the most best way to do it? Or do I shut my mouth? Well, I choose to shut my mouth because I'm not actually trying to cause like problems and be that guy, right? I'm not really a big person on like controversy or just conflict in general. I've never really been a big fan of that in general, like at all. So that also is like, I'm gonna make a video and be like, this, contrary to popular belief, do not drip. I think it's less awesome, and here's why. But I'm gonna make a video like that for sure. What exercises are good for recovering after knee problems and getting ready for snowboarding? Sheepy Sleeps, what up? I would say definitely making sure that you do a lot of quad stretch, like write these down or just look them up on like YouTube. Super couch stretch is great for a quad stretch, which gives you a little bit lengthening of the quad, which is gonna allow you to have a little less pressure and tension on the knee. Oh gosh, dude, Steven, I'm gonna get to that in a second because I gotta tell the story, right? Yo, Jibril, what up, dog? Let's see. So that, and then I love doing stuff like front squat, goblet squats, anything that allows me to keep my spine upright and train that full range of motion. That's going to translate to snowboarding. That's going to be like really, really, really good for you. Art Gaming, yo, thanks for the insight. Tag you when I get it. Please do. I definitely want to see that. Let's see. All right. So Steven says, pro tip, don't leave your wax outside in the summer sun. Rip waxy. What the rip? Okay, obviously you can imagine what happened, but a little bit backstory. Steven came to summer camp. He's been vibing and he like comes in just absolute freaking sender. He like brings his like waxing kit. He's got his apron. He's got his tools. He's like got his bench. He's got like the whole kit, the whole 9 to 5. He's got like bricks of wax. Check this out. He's got like a brick. Now we're talking like a pound of wax. If you could put this on a scale, this is 1 pound of wax, and this is Pearl's like pro wax, so it's fast, it's sick. Imagine this sits outside on the concrete and just gets baked in the sun. And correct me if I'm wrong, Steven, was there a situation where there was like 2 waxes next to each other and they like melted together? Like, dude, such a rip. By the way, if you want to if you haven't seen the wax video, we've been talking about it a lot. I just dropped this wax video, which I'm pretty pumped on it. It's got like some, and also for those that have watched it, I'm definitely curious what your thoughts are on this. Tommy Bennett, just again, I'm gonna do this with you guys. So you just vibe. I love this Tommy Bennett waxing. This one right here, this is the newest one a day ago. This one. So what I did a little differently is I did this and then I did this. I did a POV of me waxing. So you guys know exactly what's going on. Even at summer camp, there's this method right here. Now this is called crayoning the wax. This means that you're not dripping on. So essentially this is what I'm doing. I'm taking the wax and I'm just gonna barely tap instead of dripping and splashing, getting it everywhere. Look how quick this is. Now I just do this. Now there's a thin, perfect layer of wax on the board. Now it just goes like this. Now this is gonna conserve wax. This is great when it's expensive. This pearl wax is great price, but it's fast. So I wanna conserve it. I wanna get as much out of it as I can. And so like, it's gonna be a lot quicker, a lot less messy. I'm managing all the wax and just look how long I'm holding the wax on the iron. Like no time at all. And yes, I'll get a little bit of drippage, but I'm managing that in the center of the board. And that also means that I don't have to add a bunch of wax in the center. So I'm doing that all the way through and I'm gonna wax the whole thing. So if you're interested in checking out this wax video, just type in Tommy Bennett wax, scroll down, you'll see it's from a day ago. Also, if you use the link, use code Tommy15 for 15% off your Pearl Wax order. Pearl Wax has a couple different options. It's 15% off all future orders because I love you guys and want you guys the best. So you're gonna do original wax. I like the Pro Wax, it's a lot faster. Then you have this, $34 plus 15% off. You can get the kit with the 1, 2, 3. Orange is gonna be like your warm wax, your mid wax, and your cold wax. And then they also should have some, oh yeah, so then there's that. There's also bricks. So there's the small box and the big box. So there's like, you can get the 68 gram or the 1 pound brick, 485 grams, that right there. So you get 15% off. A couple other things is they do have like, my discount's better, don't tell them. They also have like tools. I just got this iron. This iron, I would not get this iron. It's sold out. Get this iron. This iron's fast. Fantastic. You also got your kit and blah, blah. 15% off. Big shout out to them. They're a local Colorado company. So anybody who's interested in just what this wax conversation was about. There we go. A little context so everyone can join in on the conversation. Luke says, maybe that's just me going. Maybe that's just me though. Going out every weekend and many days a week, waxing's a chore and I can't bother every other week. So I made a second video, but I haven't posted it yet. This right here, the wax technique, I literally can wax my board in 2.5 minutes. Not saying you gotta wax it like I do. You crayon it on and then you melt it and then I leave it and I don't even scrape. Sometimes I don't even scrape, sometimes I do, I don't. So like you could literally just like 2.5 minutes, you're done. We also got a $5 donation from Jib. Let's go. Win free riding down the mountain. Are we? I'm waiting for like, okay, I'm pre-reading this because I feel like there was some kind of sassy joke about birds or something, but just saying. But okay, when we're free riding down the mountain, are we supposed to carve the whole way down or is it okay to skid sometimes with steep? I can't continuously carve. Okay, that's a great question. And for me, it's just like, depends on what the goal is, but you don't, okay, let's take a step back. What the benefit of carving is changing directions while maintaining or minimizing losing speed or theoretically accelerating, okay? So if I want to go faster, the best way to go faster is to be on a edge and being able to change directions while going fast. That's the goal. But if it's a steep run, I carve all the time on, I carve all the time on flat terrain because I need to keep up speed. But if it's steep, I'm absolutely not carving. Can I carve? And here's like a little, I'm gonna try to draw you a little picture. Now, as we're carving, I'm gonna show you this real quick, and I'm gonna draw the picture first. And then we're gonna do it this way. Okay, now we're gonna look at this beautiful art, okay? Steve knows this from summer camp that I'm one of the most amazing artists you'll ever see. So essentially, as I'm going across the hill, I'm gonna be like just cruising, okay? As I go down, I'm actually gonna be accelerating. So right here, I'm accelerating. And then here, I'm cruising. So theoretically, if I cruised, accelerated, cruised, I didn't lose speed here. So this situation, I would actually wanna skid my turn here so that this part of the turn, I actually slow down. So now I coast, slow down, coast. Now, if I were to remain in a carve, the only way to slow down, if you're purely carving, check this out. I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna start going uphill. Notice this uphill, because if I travel uphill, I'm gonna lose speed, correct? So then I go here, now I'm actually gonna travel uphill even more. before I make that turn. So can you carve and manage your speed? Yes, you got to turn across the hill and go uphill. Totally. But sometimes you just want to skid. If I'm going through moguls, I'm going through trees, I'm going through hard packed, I'm a skid my turn. So 1000% absolutely acceptable, 100% totally okay. And also we gotta spin, but boy. It's also like snowing outside. Blank. Dang it. My wifey is going to redo that whole thing. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. And like at the end of the day, the best. Okay, Jib says when you go uphill, how do you turn to the other edge? So essentially, I'll mark this right now. Okay, so as you can see on my artistic, beautiful drawing, I'm turning, carving, and then at this double line, this is where I would actually change edges. So I'd be going, let's just say toe side, toe side, toe side. I'd bring my board flat, and then this one I would go heel. And as soon as I go heel, that's actually when I would change directions again. Does that make sense? Toe side, toe side, toe side, change edges. Now I change direction. Because I changed edges is the only reason I would change directions. I know, so artistic. Dylan, what up, dog? Dylan, what's up, dude? You can pry my Toko digital wax iron from my dead cold hands. Dude, the new one, this one's pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna lie, it's pretty sick. I haven't used the Toko one, but this one's pretty fire for sure. What else we got in here? We got a bunch more questions. Andrew, what are your thoughts on graphite over wax? Adding graphite with wax, a lot of OGs speak highly of it. I personally haven't owned much of it, so I can't speak to it, and it could be faster, and that's probably something I should talk to Jill, who is the owner of Pearl Wax. Big shout out to Jill. I should ask her about it. She's talked about it a little bit before, but I personally haven't really experimented with it because I just use wax, so I can't really speak to that. Let's see what else. Save the graphite wax for when you plan to carve fast or spring, summer when the snow strips wax fast. Okay, I like that. And then fix it with 50-50 with your temperature wax, in my opinion, says Steven. Let's go. Pablo, what up, dog? What's up? Had a question. I had just bought my first setup. Congratulations. Everything is new. Congratulations. My board comes pre-waxed. Should I wax it or should I just hit the slopes? I'm a big fan of waxing your snowboard before you go snowboard, even though it's brand new. My number one justification for this is I like to have a faster wax that may be coming, that's maybe better than factory. Plus, a lot of times the factory wax doesn't know if you're going in -10-degree temperature or 70-degree temperature. So it has a wax that's going to do good for a lot. But if you specifically wax a more expensive wax for a certain temperature range that you're actually snowboarding in, you're going to get a better result. Could you go snowboard on a brand new board? 100%. But I'm trying to go fast. In the video that I was talking about with wax, like a couple of reasons why you should wax is catwalks, flat terrain. Anytime you need to go fast, I'm hitting jumps, I'm hitting rails, I'm trying to just be better than my friends or go faster than my friends. I like to wax, so there's definitely some reasons to wax. But I would definitely recommend waxing your board, even though you got a brand new kit. Yo, Gus with the $20 donation. Are you serious, dude? I appreciate you, dude. Let's go. Gus, dude, no question. If you do have a question, pop in the chat below just so that I can answer your question, dude. Watch this. We're gonna do this. Got a question? Maybe not. I replied to it. But dude, thank you so much for the donation. We're also gonna give him a freaking gonna give him a spin on the board. Which I gotta have my wife rewrite some of these things down. That will happen. Appreciate it. It says like the stream. Appreciate you, dude. What else we got in here, my dudes? We got some more questions. Keep it coming. Dylan says, I'm happy that you asked. Going out with my first new board on Thursday, says Dylan. Let's go, dude. I'm freaking pumped for you. That's sick. Let's see what other. I'm gonna scroll back up a little bit. There's a couple questions that I absolutely missed. Just want to get as much information as possible. Okay, cool. Arco says, hey, is $1,090 for a season pass on the East Coast a lot? Essentially, is it a lot for that? And then it's my first year of boarding. So theoretically, like, let's just say a lift ticket's $250, which is probably fairly cheap these days, honestly. So on a $250, if you go 4 times, you would need to go 5 times to start saving money. So the more you go, the better deal it becomes. If I'm spending $1,000 on a snowboard pass, I go 100 days, it's $10. $10 a day, hell of a deal. But if I'm only going 3 days, I would actually save money by doing single day tickets if they're $200, $250. Obviously, if we're getting into like the $336 range, obviously you would probably need to go 4 days to do money. So like, it just depends on how you think about it. Back in the day, it used to be like $1,800 for a pass. And some resorts are still $1,800, $2,400. So like $1,000 is still a deal. But let's be honest, $1,000 is expensive. However you break it down, $1,000 is $1,000. So I would definitely say, like, if you're gonna spend the money on the season pass, 2 things. 1, justify it, go as many days as possible, find friends, go ride, go vibe, do that. And 2, the earlier you buy it, the resorts incentivize you to get your pass early by giving you money. So I think I paid like around $800 and something for my season pass, but now I think they were like $1,000. So I saved $200 by buying them in March. But if you've never snowboarded, like, how are you gonna know that? Well, you know that because you come and hang out with me and I got your back. So just food for thought on that one. Yeah, Andrew says, I just started waxing this season. Structure has been enough for your skill. Totally makes sense. Totally makes sense. Totally makes sense. Okay, back to some like questions about carving. Ironclad PC. So with carving, you are essentially just leaning over the applicable edge early. Does knee steering come into play at all? By the way, thanks for the amazing content. I love this question. So think about this. Knee steering is an amazing technique for skidded turns. Skidded turns are essentially when you're making a turn with a wider path and you're creating more friction as you turn, which is a great way to manage your speed. There's many ways to manage your speed, but by turning and skidding your board, you're going to have more ability to create tilt, create friction, and slow down. Great for riding trees, great for riding steep terrain, great for moguls, great for riding, right? Now, I would say you should isolate knee steering for only skidded turns. Now, there's some online out there that people are trying to steal my content and absolutely stay it wrong. One dude individually, he's literally made the same video and is like, oh, this is how you carve your snowboard. You should knee steer. That is objectively wrong because knee steering creates pivot. A pivot movement means your board's sliding sideways, which means a skidded turn. A carve is a anti-pivot turn. So think about if I'm trying to turn my snowboard and I'm removing pivot, I'm actually relying on the radial side cut of my snowboard. So radial side cut of a snowboard. Your snowboard has a shape to it. So theoretically, the nose of my snowboard is wider, and as my hands go down, it gets thinner. My hands get closer, my hands get wider, right? We can all objectively see that. So when you have a radial side cut, meaning our snowboard has that shape is going to determine how, if we just isolate our turn by simply using the snowboard, that shape of the radial side cut determines how big or how tight our turn is. Now, theoretically, if you put your board on edge with no additional pressure and you were just to simply turn your snowboard with radial side cut and it's just a snowboard, the weight of the snowboard, it's gonna make a certain size turn. So you may see a radial side cut of 13 meters. That means it's gonna make a 13 meter circle. You may have a 26 millimeter side cut, which means the circle is massive. So imagine how sharp that turn is not, right? A big circle means it's very gradual. A tight circle is gonna be really sharp. So skidded turns are a combination of pivoting and board shape. Carving is isolating our board shape. Now we can control how aggressive that turn is by our pressure we apply to the board, as well as how aggressive we are on the tilt. Okay, now we could get a little bit more technical. We could make our turn a little bit sharper if we're using like more of this part to start our turn, or are we using a little bit higher up? This could change how sharp that turn is. And that becomes when we start altering that turn shape, right? Humans. Long-winded techie, hopefully you followed me, and I'm sorry if I confuse you. Are you with me? A lot of techie stuff, right? If you're doing skidded turns, knee steer. If you're doing carving, we're not knee steering, and that becomes more of a even one way to carve is an even distribution of pressure through the length of your board. So I have equal pressure from the nose to the tail, equal. Now I can just tilt and ride that edge. Theoretically, we're trying to use the radial side cut of the board to create that turn, okay? Do not knee steer when carving. Carving, knee steer skid. Knee steer, skidded turns. Are we clear on that? Type in the chat, like, are we clear? Just want to make sure, because there has been like a discrepancy. I watched a YouTube video. Somebody tried to make a video like, oh, this is how you carve. You should knee steer. Now, if you take it as a literal term, the knee steer will cause you to pivot. So then that creator is telling you guys is making your life harder, where you're like, I'm doing this right. I'm knee steering, and you're not accomplishing the goal, which is to carve. So now it's a contradiction. Now you're actually like feeling like, well, I'm not doing this right. I don't understand this. I can't pick this up, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, what ends up happening is there's people out there that try to take my knowledge and my nerd and just reformat it in their own way, but they don't understand what they're doing. So then they just put stuff out there, and hopefully, like, at the end of the day, I don't care if people steal my stuff. It's just like, at the end user, is that benefiting you? If you steal my stuff and then repurpose it and it's inaccurate, that makes your life harder because you're trying to carve and you keep skidding and now you're pissed because you can't carve, and now I'm like annoyed and I'm gonna quit because like this sucks. I don't mind people stealing my stuff. It's okay. I steal people's stuff all the time. Like, no idea is original. It's all recycled, right? Oh, I'm gonna come up with a video that's like, oh, I'm gonna do a 24-hour snowboard challenge. It's like, yeah, but everyone's done 24 hours in a desert, 24 hours in a hotel, 24 hours in a haunted house, right? So like, I understand that, but it's just, can we do it in a way that's like actually helping the end user? Because my goal is to make as many people as awesome as possible. That's all I want. I just don't want people getting hurt. I want people like getting stoked and vibing. So that was an absolute rant, so my apologies. But yeah. Got Jib with another $2 donation, dude. Let's go. Okay, we got ways the best. I'm assuming that's what's the best progression? Carving, switch, jumps. Can you ask that question again? Like, are you talking about like a terrain park? Or are you talking about switch ollies? Like, do you mind just like kind of clarify that? And then I can absolutely answer that question. And as you clarify, I'm gonna go over here and spin to win on this. It says free spin. Free spin, free spin. Win a sticker. Hit me up on Instagram. I'll send you some stickers, my dude. Thank you so much for the $2 donation. Let's go. All right, so I'm going to get that question going for Jib. Let's go with the $2 donation. Definitely. Okay. Best progression for beginners who's learning to carve but hasn't learned switch and wants to conquer the park and POW. Boom. Okay, I love it, love it. Best progression for beginners who are learning to carve. Honestly, best ways to learn to carve for beginners. This is so simple. So simple. Check this out. And then Jim says, I just realized today when making side hit jumps that that not knowing switch hurts my ability. 100%. So best way best way to learn how to carve. Stand on your snowboard. I'm gonna try to do this example. Stand on your snowboard. Distribute your weight evenly between the front foot and the back foot. Engage your core and imagine you're a ginormous tree and you're just leaning over. If I lean over with a perfect stance, meaning my shoulder, hips, and knees are all squared up, the only thing that rotates is my head. If I just lean over, I will carve my snowboard. I can just lean over. I do this every day. I do this every day on catwalks. I just stand there, I lean forward, I carve, and I lean back, I carve. To amplify your carve, to make this a little bit more awesome, think about pressing both shins to the front of your boots a little bit harder. That's gonna increase the tilt, allow you to carve a little bit better. On my heel side, I can think about sinking down as if I'm sitting in my chair and I'm lifting up my toes. That's gonna allow me to carve. That is the easiest and best way to learn how to carve. Of course, that's second to watching a Tommy Bennett video. Type in Tommy Bennett carve. I got tons of videos. That's how I would teach you to carve. Just to like start getting on carve, that's the best way. Now, as far as like being able to ride switch, yeah, think about switch riding opens up your bag of tricks. And your fun factor. Imagine I do a 180 off of a jump and I don't crash and die. Sick, right? What if I go into that jump, switch, and I get to land regular? I just doubled my tricks. What if I went switch and went left, or spun right, or spun front side, back side? What if I went regular and went left and right? Like there's so many different like options. What if I went switch 180 with a nose grab? What if I went the tail grab or a mute or an indie or a seatbelt? All of a sudden, I've just like expanded the amount of potential fun that I had on a side hit with a simple 180 or adding grabs or straight airs or switch or challenges. So I would definitely say that. Switch, I would definitely say focus on switch riding with knee steering, but I would definitely highly recommend you do this. Type in Tommy Bennett switch. Now, I've made these videos before. How to ride switch on your snowboard in 5 easy ways, the ultimate beginner guide. This video right here is incredible. Watch this video. This right here, super awesome. This second video I'd watch is this one down here. This is how I learned to ride switch. I literally tell you the story, how I learned it, like my struggles, my struggles and challenges, boom. But if you're really like, I don't really understand what he's saying, watch these videos. I have so many videos on switch. This one right here, it's artsy, it's sick, 100,000 views, let's freaking go. Right, pretty cool. Pretty cool. We're going back over here. And thanks for the donation, my dude. WKR, I need some new goggles. Dude, check out the link below. These are my goggles. I'm gonna tell you about these real quick. If you guys haven't heard, right here, boom, boom, boom. So I actually designed and created these. I get asked a lot, like, oh, do you just have a mold that you just paid somebody from, sorry, did you take somebody else's mold and put your name on it? No, I designed these myself. There's things in here that I absolutely love. A couple things is there's like this little notch here to help get the lens out. There's these little pins to help stay vertically together. You're gonna get 2 lenses, $139 for 2 lenses, Zeiss lenses, high quality lenses. I made a video post on it yesterday on TikTok. Check this out. This is like the truth here. You guys can hear it?
These dark lenses on a low light, snowy day just like this. And the truth is, I actually spent over
You're looking
3.5 years developing and testing these goggles to make sure that they're absolutely perfect. And the next time you go snowboarding or skiing, that you're gonna have an incredible day. And I strategically chose Zeiss lenses because I find them to be the best lens that's gonna increase contrast and detail regardless of the conditions, which means that you're gonna have a better day snowboarding or skiing regardless of the lighting, which is incredible, right? And these goggles are actually packed with incredible features like taller straps so that they last longer and they're more comfortable, OTG, which is over the glasses, and they're magnetic lenses, which means you can easily swap out from low light to dark lenses instantly. So if you're interested in picking up one of these awesome pair of Benetech
yeah, so there we go. That's going to be like this website. Just go to shopbenetech.com. It's my company. Designed these myself. And they took 3.5 years. So it was definitely like an absolute vibe. So if you're looking for goggles, dude, there you go. No, we got another $5 donation. Since you have the clothing company, how should pants fit? And do you recommend bibs? By the way, amazing merch this season. Dude. Love it. Appreciate it. $5 donation. You're a GOD. Let's go. Let's see. Dylan, I'll get to your question here in a hot second. There's a lot of you guys vibing in here. I appreciate it. Let's see. Okay, pants. I personally love to wear my snowboard pants like just high enough where I can squat down. Most pants, if you wear them too low, they get like super tight right here, which are super not awesome. Thank you, Jose, with the freaking shopbenetechlink.com. Let's go. For me, I personally don't love bibs. Now, I'm gonna just paint a picture scenario. Try not to be too like gross about it, but imagine you have bibs on, and I personally love wearing a hoodie over the bibs. I get to the resort, and I gotta go to the bathroom. Now I have to like take my hoodie off, take this down, and then I have to like do my business. Then I gotta put them back on, take the hoodie on. But if I just had pants, I'm just like, right? So like, I don't like the inconvenience of bibs, but bibs are amazing if you're literally like, I wore them in Japan because there's freaking 30,000 feet of snow and I don't want to get lost in the sauce, so I did wear them there. This year, like not this year, next winter we're coming out with pants, and then I think the following year we're gonna offer bibs. I personally don't love bibs, but people do. The one thing people love about bibs is they have like a chest pocket so that you can like hold your phone and stuff. Well, then I have jackets that do that, but yeah. Dylan, so this is what we got right now. So right now we have the Benetech X, which is going to be this winter jacket right here. 50 bucks off right now. I'm going to change that soon, so if you're interested in jackets. But right now we have this jacket. So I have this one right here, which is going to be our Fire Frost. This one right here, boom, boom. It's got these colorways. And then going over here to our Evermint, it's going to be this. Now the same jackets, it's got pit zips. Obviously, we got upper pockets that are like super cozy and warm and awesome. And then you got your main, if you can see it here. So there's zips up here for that like upper chest pocket that we were talking about with the bibs. And then we got these pockets right here that are like massive pockets, selfie stick, Insta360 X4 stick type stuff. And then you got pass pockets on both left and right. So we have all of this. So these are the jackets that just came out. They're brand new. If you're interested in picking them out, they're like so sick. These jackets are incredible. I'm so pumped on them. And they're not like your traditional shell that you feel like, oh, I can't go in the trees because they're so thin. I'm going to probably like rip my jacket. They're a little bit thicker. So you feel like it's a little heavier, a little thicker material so that when you're going through the snow or trees, you're like, oh, I'm not going to wreck my jacket. Like it feels stronger. So that's that. Same link as Jose posted. You keep your high bucks as upright or cant them a little when starting to train switch. I keep my high back, my forward lean as they call it. I keep my forward lean or the angle of my high back as vertical as possible because I like to use my ankles and shins. I don't necessarily like that pressure. Oh yeah, and freaking Jabril. We got a, I don't know if we've spun, but we're gonna spin again. Thanks so much for the $5 donation. Dang. Let's see. Fire Frost looks jacket, the 10K waterproofing. Any reason we went 10K or not more? We definitely want to, and I wanted, okay, here's the thing. I was like, I wanted to do more, and the price point of going like 20, 30, 40 is like, I want to do it, and that's something we're going to do next year. I wanted to introduce like kind of a lightweight, versatile jacket that is going to like appeal to a lot of people. And sometimes you have like, oh, I'm going to do 20, 30K, but I'm going to spend $500 on a jacket. I didn't feel comfortable going into the market with a $500 jacket. I was like a $299 jacket to test the market because it's really challenging to have somebody like, oh, I'm going to buy a $500 jacket. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to go buy until they trust me and until they trust the jackets, until they feel them and see them. Because you feel them and see them, you're like, oh my God, these are amazing. Until you feel them and see them, like, I'm going to go Benetech or I'm going to go Burton, especially with a $500 price point. So right now I wanted to go, cool, let's get a low price point where it's like $299. Somebody's going to try it, buy it, and it's not the heftiest thing. So we will be going down there in the future, 100%. Tommy Tech. Oh, that's interesting. Tommy Tech, dude, that's actually mad funny. I like that. Yo. And like, I do it a 30-day money back guarantee. I've been super pumped on the jacket. They like feel so incredible. Dylan, what size question mark? Size board, size jacket? I'm assuming jacket. And good terrain park at Montage. I'm not sure. Not totally sure. I'm thinking about riding with a catheter and a drain tube. Being old sucks. Oh, do you actually have one? That's gnarly. Okay. Do you ship your jackets to Canada, and are they good for negative 25 degrees Celsius, which is, I'm trying to think in Fahrenheit. So the way, Zorak, that I've structured all of my outerwear at the moment is it is a shell. Now, the reason why it's a shell is I want you to be able to use this jacket in October, November, December, January, February, March, and April. Okay. Now, if it's a thick insulated jacket, then you can only use it in January, and now it's rendered useless. I want you to be in the jacket year round, so it's got big vents for when it's hot. But if it's cold out, then put a puffy jacket underneath. So we have like, we're coming out with puffies. We're doing a couple rounds of samples still, but we're gonna do some more puffies, and then the goal is to be able to do puffies underneath and then sell you the kit. I usually wear a puffy underneath my jacket like almost every day. Love the Benetech goggles, 2 seasons using a pair. Dude, Camo Mine Snow, you're a freaking legend. I remember seeing your order online and I was like, no way. What a freaking GOD, dude. Let's go. Stinky, what up, dog? What is the what was the hardest trick fundamentally or thing you've for you to learn? What's your favorite thing to do on a snowboard? Favorite thing to do on a snowboard is like hit jumps. Whether I'm doing tricks or not, I freaking love that. Jumps is so fun. Now, the hardest thing, I think for people, like a backside 180 is really hard. I struggled with that for a while because I kept wanting to rotate to 360. Backflips were really hard for me because it was more of a mental barrier than anything. That was pretty hard, to be honest. That was pretty hard. Brandon, is riding a skateboard switch good for learning snowboarding switch? It definitely has its perks, which is perceiving the world in the opposite direction, right? You're understanding how to move your legs up and down in a different timing, coordination. You're training your mind and eyes to perceive things this way. There's an absolute advantage. It definitely helps. Is it going to translate one-to-one from skateboarding to snowboarding? No, just because of the way the mechanics and the friction you have on your skateboard wheels is definitely different. I skated for a long time. I definitely would say that there's benefits, but it's not a one-to-one translation. Yo, Vu with an upgraded membership to TB Super VIP. Let's freaking go. What a GOD. A rip stick has been beneficial. Yeah, totally. Rip stick actually does a lot of independent ankle work. It teaches your brain and mind to work together in that realm, which is super cool. Realm, super cool. Also, Dylan said, yeah, size of jacket. I do wear a medium tech hoodie and a medium focus jacket. Dude, okay, so Jose is like, I had to borrow some goggles because I kept forgetting mine. He'd fly from New York to Colorado, hit me up in the morning, be like, hey, man, do you have a pair of goggles I can borrow? And I'm like, yeah, I do, but like what? He's like, oh, I forgot mine in New York. And I was like, I got you, bro. So I charge him quadruple. Right? Supply and demand. It's a simple thing. Medium Tommy Tax, dude. Got it. Let's go, dude. I appreciate you. Also, Jose with a 55. What? 55-month membership. Yo, what? He says, yikes. Ah! Dude, that's crazy. That's crazy. Jose has been, he's been a good friend of mine. He's also the kind of guy that roasts me in the background. Because he's like, you need to be doing live streams all summer. I'm like, yeah, I don't really want to do them. He's like, I don't care. Do it for the people. I'm like, dang, you got a point. It's pulling my heartstring. And he's like, dude, you need to do your Amazon stuff, your Amazon listing. You need to do this, that, and the other. I'm like, you're right, dude. I'm editing and filming and blah, blah, blah. But it's nice to have like somebody who's going to tell you what you need to know, not what you want to know. And I have a couple friends like that. Even my wife, she's not just going to like, oh, yeah, you're doing everything right. She's like, not to be mean, but to be supportive, like blah, 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 right? So it's like really cool to have people on your side that are there for your best interest. And not just like, oh my God, you're the best. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm actually like not sick at all. But they're like, they're the who have my back, which I think is like, it's been really cool and very appreciative. Very appreciative at the end of the day. Appreciative for sure. All right, so I was thinking about doing something a little bit different. If y'all are into this, I'm going to do a little something different. So what I wanted to do is queue up a video. We're going to watch this video together. It's a sick video, and I'm going to give my 2 cents. Now, I have never seen this video before, so this is going to be our first time. So stick around. We're going to hang out. We're going to vibe. We're going to get a little bit more entertaining, less questions, but we're just going to watch a video, And then we're going to talk about it, stop it, and I may put this into a normal video or not, but stick around. We're going to watch this video. Now, this video is going to be this one. This one's super cool. This one's super cool. So, okay, we're going to start this one over. Okay. This video is let's make this full screen. Okay. This video is Vail Resort's downfall inevitable. Now, I'm going to stop this once in a while. I'm going to stop it, but we should watch this video and see what it's about because I'm really curious.
For the past few years, the largest ski resort operator in the world has been none other than Vail Resorts. This massive ski conglomerate owns and operates.
Hold on. Oh, yeah, we totally blew it. Oh, that looks better. There we go. There we go. Okay. Okay. Let me move me real quick. I think I want to be like. I think I want to be a little smaller. Is that too small? It looks a little awkward, right? Are you guys interested in this video? Trying to make sure it's like looks good. Michael says love peak rankings. Dude, I've met the dude. I'm like homies with him. I don't know if I'm homies, but he's cool. I've like rode with him, hung out with him. He's sick. All right, let's do this. So right now we're checking out a video from Peak Rankings. Is Vail Resorts downfall inevitable? Now, I worked for Vail Resorts for like 10 years. I think there's a lot of positivity from Vail. I think they get a lot of unnecessary hate, but that's just like my opinion. I think there's a lot of cool things they do, but I'm really curious to see what this says. And then I'll give my input on it, but let's see it. Big shout out to Peak Rankings. They're a super awesome YouTube channel. Met the dude. Sam's awesome.
For the past few years, the largest ski resort operator in the world has been none other than Vail Resorts. This massive ski conglomerate owns and operates more than 24 ski areas across.
Okay, before we get too deep into this, isn't this insane? There is so many resorts: Beaver Creek, Breckenridge, Crested Butte, Vail. Holy cow! Now, one of the upsides is you can get a season pass to all these places. Imagine each one of these had to be their own season pass. Well, I can go ride Beaver Creek, Breck, Keystone. Okay, I used to do this all the time back in my day. Back in the day, I'd ride Beaver Creek, Breckenridge, Keystone, and Vail in one day. And sometimes even a basin back in the day when they had like a together vibe. I forget what it was, like a partnership-ish type thing. So like you could literally ride all these resorts on a pass. Pretty sick, right? Oh, yeah.
North America and Australia, and with recent acquisitions in Europe, the company may not look like it's going anywhere. But recently, a few circumstances have raised some questions about whether some chinks are forming in Vail Resorts' armor. So what's really going on? And is Vail Resorts operating as a truly sustainable business? Well, in this video, we'll figure this out by going through Vail's 2024 earnings report. And then we'll walk you through how its trends will affect skiing and riding for those visiting one of the more than 40 resorts around the world that are operated by Vail. Let's jump in.
Okay, I think this is gonna be nerdy, and I'm actually pretty excited.
So let's start with a basic question. How does Vail make its money? Well, if you've been paying attention to the costs of skiing over the past few years, you'd probably think that lift tickets are a big component, and you'd be right. For the fiscal year from August 2023 to July 2024, which Vail Resorts refers to as fiscal year 2024, the company recorded over $1.4 billion in lift ticket revenue, which is up 1.5% from the 2023 fiscal year. This lift ticket revenue includes the incredibly popular Epic Pass products. On the other hand, certain other sectors saw notable decreases in revenue. One big drop came from the retail and rentals field, which totaled $312 million in revenue for fiscal year 2024. This is a huge 12.3% drop from fiscal year 2023, totaling around $44 million less in revenue.
So it's pretty crazy at the end of the day, like how much, and I feel this in my own company, like selling outerwear. When we get a lot of early season snow, sales pop off. When it's like, oh, we didn't get much snow, it's hard for a consumer to be like, I'm going to take my family, spend $5,000 with like 5 kids, flights, rentals, accommodation, just to get somewhere. And it's like, oh, the snow's not going to be good. Am I going to just not spend the money, or I'm going to go Hawaii? So like, that's really challenging. But we also have like, Ice Coast said like, how they've completely removed all terrain parks from Big Boulder, and a place used to have like Trans World Trans Am. Yeah, that's one thing that's been like very interesting, is just seeing like the lack of love for terrain parks, which Copper is adding terrain parks and adding a lot of stuff. And then Vail seems to be like kind of just minimizing it, and they'll have parks, but it doesn't really seem like it doesn't really seem like they've like really cared about terrain park, and whether it's like, oh, we don't have a correlation of like I make this much money in exchange for, like, how do you know if you're making money on a park? Well, what's cool about like Copper is they'll do summer camps. Well, okay, cool. We had 1,000 people run through summer camp at X amount of dollars. I don't know how much, I don't know their numbers, but let's just say math, like 1,000 people run through a summer. Cool. We just generated X amount of revenue for a summer operation of the park. Cool. Or other resorts are like, cool, we just die and we kill the park. We don't do anything. So it's kind of a bit of a bummer. But like a snow sports industry in itself is so challenging because it's so weather dependent. It's like, oh, we got terrible snow this year and no one cares. The other thing that a lot of people don't talk about and understand is like where Christmas sits in the week. Because sometimes Christmas may sit, let's just say like on a Friday. So then somebody's going to work all week and go on a vacation on, let's say, take Friday off, Saturday, Sunday, and actually return to work on Monday. So they actually get like a 4-day holiday break instead of the full week, right? But if sometimes when Christmas, and I think this is right, if you have like a Christmas on a Tuesday, well, then you're going to take Monday off, Tuesday, then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then you actually return to work on that next Monday, which ends up being like a really big block of holiday time. Now that directly impacts like how much money the resort makes and how much money I get, because people are like, oh, I have a 3-day weekend, you're not going to do that much. So it's like a double-edged sword when it comes to like a snow sports, and it's like you're constantly trying to solve the problem is like, how do we create a predictable income? And it's like when weather, obviously we all choose a sport, when weather is bad, it's like it's pretty challenging, right?
We don't know the specifics of exactly what caused this, but last year's major drop in skier visits is likely the main culprit, as less people on the slopes also means less people in the stores looking for new skis or renting for the day.
And so to my point, right, last season we felt the effect of the resorts where it wasn't that busy. It was like, oh my gosh, this is a holiday, everybody buckle down, get ready. But then the way Christmas sat was on a weird day of the week, and the snow was so late that it showed up in January that people aren't showing up, and now that has such gnarly cascading effects, which means people working in the restaurant industry aren't getting paid. People in the rentals are getting their hours cut because no one's showing up, like rental shops. So there's like this massive snowball effect, and I definitely felt it in my sales as like owning a goggle and outerwear company is like, I'm not really going to go snowboard, so I'm not going to buy anything.
Other large contributors to revenue include lodging at $336 million, ski school at $305 million, and dining at $228 million. This all adds up to a net revenue of $2.89 billion, which is surprisingly down just 0.1% from fiscal year 2023. Why is it remarkable that the revenue is down that little? Well, skier visits were down 9.5% last year, from 19.4 million in fiscal year 2023 to 17.6 million in fiscal year 2024. It's no secret that last winter was not the best snow-wise, and the drop among Vail-owned resorts was greater than the US nationwide, which saw an overall skier visit drop of just 7.6%. One major reason for this drop was the horrible season for Midwest hills, especially in the lower parts of the region. In this area of North America, the natural weather was an absolute disaster. Hills such as Mad River Mountain in Alpine Valley in Ohio, Snow Creek and Hidden Valley in Missouri, and Paoli Peaks in Indiana all had some of their shortest seasons on record. This very well...
All right, so I'm just going to interrupt real quick. Like Iceco says, like, you know, by the terrain park loses money. I agree, but it's hard. All I'm saying is it's hard to track. Because I'm going to go to this resort and I happen to hit the park. But did I go to the resort for the park? And I think that's not... It's hard for big corporations to understand that difference, right? But I agree, if you build parks, they will come. Like, I'm a massive fan of I ride train parks. On a POW day, I'm on a train park, right? I love train parks, and if you build more parks, you can absolutely do that. So it's like, I wish they would build more parks. I wish it was a bigger park. I'm also trying to understand, like, why don't they do parks? Well, we're going to put money into train parks and just take that same revenue and do like ski school lessons or something. I don't know. And you're like, I love train parks. I like riding parks. I think it's so fun. And I just wish they would do more for the parks. And yeah.
Well, likely impacted other regions as well, as local skiers to those hills may have canceled trips out west after seeing the dissuasive conditions at hand. Compared to other multi-mountain companies such as Alterra, Powder, or Boyne, Vail Resorts owns far more Midwest mountains than its competitors, with 9 under its belt, compared to the other mega resort companies, which between them only own a combined 3. According to the National Ski Areas Association, the Midwest as a whole saw an astounding 26.7% drop in skier visits from last year, which was the most of any US region. But despite this huge drop in skier visits across the Vail Resorts portfolio, one number that helps explain why the revenue barely dropped is the effective ticket price, or ETP. This is the average amount a skier or rider pays for 1 day of lift access across all Vail Resorts owned mountains, and this metric is found by dividing lift revenue by skier visits. It's important to note that ETP takes into account all forms of access, ranging from the incredibly expensive day ticket purchases to epic pass holders skiing over 100 days and getting the bargain of a lifetime. You probably already know where this is going. While skier visits were down, Vail's ETP most certainly was not. The ETP for fiscal year 2024 was $82.14, which is a whopping 12.2% increase from the fiscal year 2023 tally of $73.20.
I mean, it's easier to like have less visits, but if you charge people more, then yeah, you'll make more money.
A big reason for this was the steep increase in regular lift ticket prices. While Epic season and day pass prices only increased by around 8% versus the prior year, regular lift ticket prices increased a lot more. Although the average lift ticket prices at already expensive places like Vail and Beaver Creek went up by less than 10%, destinations that used to be slightly more reasonable saw massive price changes. For example, the weighted average lift ticket prices for each of North Star, Heavenly, Stowe, Stevens Pass, Park City, Keystone, and Okemo went up by over 15%, while the weighted average ticket price for Whistler Blackcomb, which is the company's only Canadian resort, went up by a staggering 36% from $144 US to $196 US. That is...
Isn't that crazy? 36% increase. Now, like, at what point is it just like so expensive to like snowboard, ski, you know? It's like, where's that tipping point? Which is like, eventually we're going to find it, what that tipping point is. But like, there's also like the other side. It's like where resorts make money, they get to do cool stuff. Hopefully they make parks. Like you have high speed 6-person fast chairlifts. You have a 4-speed high speed chairlift on a park chair. Like when a resort has more money, they can do more cool things. Just hopefully it's in favor with what we want, which is terrain parks. Like me, as in like I love terrain parks, so it's like, oh, high speed dedicated terrain parks, big jumps, blah blah blah. Obviously, like that'd be cool. I was like, the more a resort makes money, the more opportunity they have to do cool things. Hopefully that means putting it into terrain parks, fun features, cool customer experiences. That'd be nice. That's obviously like the goal, right?
Completely insane year-over-year price hike. It seems that the trend of declining visitation but increased revenue may continue next season, albeit potentially to a lesser extent. A couple of weeks ago, it came out that Vail Resorts' 2024-2025 Epic Pass sales through the summer dropped 3% compared to the prior year, although pass revenue was actually up 3% thanks to another 8% across-the-board price increase this season. It actually seems that this summer's sales saw some improvement from the early bird spring renewal period, with existing pass holders making up their minds later than usual, but fewer new pass holders than in years past.
That's also the thing that like it is we got to consider. If I'm buying a pass, I live in Colorado, I'm going to snowboard. I'm going to do that all the time, right? But if I'm coming out for a week, and earlier in the chat we talked about if a ticket's $250, theoretically if I go 5 times, I've actually saved money, right? So if I'm coming out here for 7 days and I want to see the weather conditions and I want to see the snow conditions, I might wait to buy my pass. But you're going to get the best deal if you buy your pass the season before in March. So then it's like kind of a double-edged side for the consumer, because as a consumer, you're like, I want to buy this pass, I'm committed, but it might not be the sickest year. So now it's a kind of a gamble with my money. Orlando, what's up? What do you mean with the audio? Elaborate to my dude.
Especially when considering that the company's mountain portfolio hasn't changed all that much in the past 5 years, it's possible that Vail Resorts has hit its ceiling for growth in the North American market. For now, Vail Resorts may be able to keep its revenue flat by continuing the price increases, but this strategy does not seem like a winning one for the long term. It's also worth briefly touching on Vail Resorts' lodging revenue from last year. While the segment did drop slightly from the prior year overall, the changes by lodging type have been more drastic. The hotel, transportation, and golf sections of Vail's portfolio saw growth of 4.8%, 7%, and 7.7% respectively, while on the other hand, the Vail Resorts managed condos saw a decrease of almost 11% for fiscal year 2023. The decrease in condo revenue tracks with the lower visitation, but it's somewhat surprising to see revenue from hotel rooms continue to grow despite last year's trends. But upon a closer look, it becomes apparent why. The increase in hotel revenue came in large part thanks to increased visitation at Grand Teton Lodge Company, which provides accommodations that only operate during the summer months. So yeah, Vail Resorts' winter lodging took a huge hit as expected, but the company was actually able to hedge on this with a sizable boost in summer visitation, albeit to accommodations that most people don't even know that they own. But perhaps the most shocking thing in Vail's earnings report is what we see with ski school and dining. Despite the double-digit drop in retail and rentals, the ski school and dining sectors both actually went up in revenue for fiscal year 2024. Dining went up by a modest 1.3% versus the prior year, but ski school revenue actually increased by a pretty eye-opening 6%. And unlike with lodging, there was...
Okay, interesting. So cool video. It's I think Steven said this first, like, holy cow, is this a super nerdy breakdown? So if you want to keep watching that, big shout out to Peak Rankings for doing that. I got one other video that I think may be a little bit more entertaining, could be a little bit cooler, so we're gonna dive into that one. But if you're interested in Peak Rankings, big awesome channel, they're killing it. Met the dude. Sam is super cool. So I'm gonna dive into another video. So give me a second. We're going to try this one. But like, yeah, let me know in the chat, like, is this something you guys like? Should I do more of these? We could start off the chats with this. If not, like, yeah, let me know. Xander says, the issue is how much money is being reinvested into real estate as opposed to the mountain itself. Yeah, that's a very like interesting point for sure. Hopefully you guys can hear me typing away because I'm trying to find this video. I just don't. Oh, there we go. Let's try this one. This is going to be a little... Oh, this one comes out wild. Let's go. Okay. Whoa. All right. Okay, this video is from Liam Stevens. This dude's gnarly. This is like a really cool video that Okay, so we're just gonna watch this video real quick. It's from Liam Stevens. He's a Canadian rider, fellow YouTuber. Big shout out to him. Check out his channel. It's this one right here. We're gonna full screen it, but you can see it here. Traveled 10,000 miles to ride fake snow. This one's a little bit shorter, so let's check this out.
Now, why would someone travel all the way across the world to ride some fake snow into a plastic bag? Well, it's the third week of our trip in Australia, and we've known about this complex the whole time we've been down here, but the main reason we traveled all this way was to get some real snowboarding up at Perisher. But then, over the last couple weeks, everyone down here has been telling us how great this airbag setup they have is, and I do have some tricks that I'd really like to learn.
All right, so like, premise of this video is this dude's gonna go train and get gnarly on an airbag, and it's sick. And the cool thing about airbags is I've like, as a snowboard coach for like 15 years, I've coached a lot of people. I've been in them a lot. And what's cool is essentially you're trying to do a crazy trick that you would never try in a as safe environment as possible. And then you have your normal airbags that just look like a bag, right? And then you flop, you do your trick and you land flat. And what's not sick about that is you're not training your body and your mind to land at a slope, because a traditional jump landing is slope. And when you have a flat bag, you're not actually able to land and simulate riding away. So then when you have a landing bag, which you have your jump, it's a flat section, so you have a definitive area that you need to clear, and then there's a downslope for you to land on, and then you're trying to learn to do your trick, land parallel to the terrain, and theoretically ride away. Now, when you're on a slope, or like an airbag, you can literally land and maybe ride like 10 feet, 15, like at most, and you'll land and you'll like know in your brain, I landed it. And then eventually you're gonna fall because there's no friction, you're gonna slip out, you're gonna fall. But you can train your mind to understand how to put your board under your feet. So I think it's gonna be really cool, and I'm really curious what tricks he's gonna do. But as far as an airbag, it is a way to accelerate your progression in a safe environment while trying to minimize your chances of getting hurt. Can you get hurt? Yes, still a possibility.
So we just had to go check it out. This place looks amazing. The complex is called the National Snow Sports Training Center, and it was created by the Australian government in a town called Jindabyne. Now, you may be wondering why I was hesitant to come check it out, and there's two reasons for that. One is that airbags usually have some sketchy aspect about
Okay, that's the airbag. Let me go back for a second.
them. And there's two reasons for that. One is that airbags usually have
Okay, this one, like, see how it's just flat? But then, like, to his point, like, you can just absolutely oversend it, shoot it. Oh my gosh. This doesn't really, it's an old school thought process. It's definitely evolved and changed, but just so you can see this is what I was talking about. Flat bag, sketchy.
have some sketchy aspect.
Oh, that was
Two is
gnarly.
that I have some feelings about airbags and their impact on snowboarding, but I'll get more into that later. First, let's start riding this thing. I eased into it by starting off in the small bag. Then, I moved up to the bigger bag, but by starting off on its smallest takeoff. And after my first couple hits, I could tell they had greatly reduced the negative aspects that most airbags have. The layout was designed by Charles Beckinsale, one of the top park builders in the world. He designed the angles of the takeoffs and landings to match his signature real snow jumps that he's perfected throughout the years. And you can feel it when you're riding it. Opposed to other bags I've ridden with quick takeoffs and flatter landings, this one has minimal G-forces on the takeoff, lots of hang time, and soft touchdown landings in the bag. I also thought
So he was talking about G-forces, which is pretty interesting because there's like,
minimal G-forces.
so there's been like times when you're like hitting an airbag, and if they don't get the math right, there's one that was like, I don't know, what are you, sorry, my dude back here is just like absolutely losing it. So there's times where they get the math wrong, and I've been on this airbag, and it was like the science was absolutely wrong. You had like a steep run in, and then it would go flat rather quickly. So then you would have kids, athletes, like people would hit that, and they would G out on the flat section before they even get to the jump. So then you're like flat, and then you G out, which means there's so much gravity pressure that you end up slipping out, and then you G out, and then you hit the top, or you hit the ramp going the actual jump. So then you get like bodied into like transition that's up, so you like slam, and you didn't even make it into the airbag because like the science was wrong. But the challenge is like it's all made out of concrete, and you're kind of stuck with it. So then you're trying to get somebody who's like an amateur up and coming snowboarder to be able to handle the G-forces, to be able to even do a trick is hard in itself. So like having the signs right and not G'ing out, sick.
On the takeoff, lots of hang time, and soft touchdown landings in the bag. I also thought getting used to this fake plastic snow would take some time, but this bag uses this fancy dry slope material, and it basically
Okay, that stuff is arguably, I've ridden it. It is the best artificial snow that I've ever been on because it acts like there's two layers. It almost looks like a mushroom, and there's like a ball head on one and another ball head, but they sit at different angles, not angles, heights. So then when your edge is turning, you're actually like have pressure on the top one, and then there's a secondary level as if you have snow, right? You have your top layer of snow, but when you turn your snowboard, you sink down. This simulates sinking down, and you can literally do carves. You can do instructor skidded turns. This stuff is quite incredible. The downside is you have to like constantly spray with water so that it's lubricated and you can slide and it's good. But a lot of these places solve that problem by putting sprinklers on, and then you can just press a button, sprinkles for 5, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever, and then you turn it off, not a big deal. But if you don't do that and it's like a hot sunny day, you're like, and you might not even make it into the airbag. But this stuff, incredible. If you ever get an experience to do it, try it out.
this fake plastic snow would take some time, but this bag uses this fancy dry slope material, and it basically feels like real snow with just a little bit more friction. It's actually amazing how well you can hold an edge on it. Now the two tricks I want to learn are backside double cork 1260s, hopefully it'll look just like this one right here, and then switch backside double cork 1080s, which I've done normally, but never switch. After getting a normal backside 1080 and then playing around with some switch backside spins, I knew I needed more airtime, and then I'd have to move up to the biggest takeoff if I wanted to actually land these tricks. But my biggest fear when riding airbags is getting stuck on the plastic and injuring myself. This is the most unpredictable and sketchy part about airbags. This bag has automatic sprinklers, so it can't get dry and sticky. And now I'm sure it's still possible to get stuck on this thing. I hadn't had a sticky moment this whole session. This added to my confidence, and I decided to drop in for the big one. And I guess I was still a little scared because I went too slow. At this point, our session was almost over, and I only had one hit left. And I wanted to build up to that switch backside 1080, so I decided to drop in switch for my final hit. And it felt so good. I know I can land these tricks if I just get some more time on them. So
That dude's gnarly. A switchback 5, so floaty, controlled, and amazing. That's so sick. But to be able to do a 1260, it's obviously more than a 10. So theoretically, he wants to do 3 full rotations in the air. So it would be like 3, 7, 10. And then he's going to add 1 more rotation. So theoretically, he's going to, when he's doing his 12, he's riding out switch and then like a switchback, and then he's going to do like double cork. So he's not necessarily doing it perfectly flat. There's going to be some flip involved, which is super cool. But his switchback 5 was freaking incredible. It was so floaty and he had such a good takeoff, and he just, oh, it was beautiful. Nice job. Switchback 5's going into that thing switch, dude. Freaking gnarly.
we decided to come back for a second day. On day 2, I started off by heading straight to the big jump. After a couple backside 1080s, I started going for the 12. The 12 requires a lot more confidence to commit to that last 180, and that's one thing airbags are really good for, helping you overcome your fear of tricks and build the confidence necessary to execute them. They obviously also help.
And as you see it, I'm just gonna like rewind it real quick. As you can see it, you can see the 10, and then he's trying to squeak out a 1 more 180. So his body's doing a 10, but he wants a little bit more in there.
Helping you overcome your fear of
Right
tricks and build
there.
the
He's coming out
confidence necessary to
blind,
execute.
like that little
They
last
obviously
like
also
back
help
1.
reduce the risk of injury too, which gives you more tries to build up that confidence and learn the trick. Now, I wasn't able to figure out the 1260 today, and I think that's likely due to the fact that even with the help of the airbag, I wasn't able to overcome my fear and tell my body what it needed to do to land the trick. But that's all right. Sometimes these things just take time, and luckily enough, we had one more opportunity to ride this thing.
And I'm really curious about his perspective, which is going to happen a little bit later. Are airbags good or bad for snowboarding? Some argue that it's really good because you're able to get people to learn tricks like he's doing. The amount of attempts that he's done without sustaining a significant injury, even though he kind of came up short and it wasn't well on a normal jump, that would have been like pretty gnarly, and you have like such limited attempts, right? Is that good or bad for snowboarding? And that's really the question a lot of people have been asking, is having airbags and this artificial training to be able to simulate all this stuff good for the progression of snowboarding? You end up getting a lot of people who can progress really fast, really safely, but you progress so fast that it becomes like so gnarly. And competitive snowboarding is like so inspirational and so crazy. It's also hard for a lot of the mainstream people watching, like casual viewers, to understand what's going on. What's the difference between a 1600 and 21? Well, the dude's just spinning really fast. It's really hard to tell. So what's your opinion? Definitely let me know in the comments below. Like, theoretically, are airbags a positive impact in the sport, or has it actually had a negative impact?
But before we get to that, I want to share with you my thoughts on airbags, and I'm going to do so while I
Let's go.
show you this horse that lives in our backyard.
That timing, though.
Okay, so I actually found it quite hard for me to gather my thoughts on this, and I think that's because I'm worried about what the snowboarders I look up to will think of this video. That's because as airbags began to gain adoption in snowboarding, there was a lot of pushback from riders in the circles that I frequent. This pushback has since dwindled, and the majority of those riders are now utilizing the benefits of airbags. And actually, a majority of the contest riders you see today are using airbags to work on their tricks too. But no one is openly talking about it. And I fall in this category as well. I've been using airbags on and off for the last 10 years or so, and a lot of the tricks that you see in these videos, I actually worked out on airbags. But I haven't shared much about those experiences until now, in the fear of it affecting my core score or something. Which is unfortunate, because I do think that airbags have some real benefits for snowboarders. And the short and sweet of my thoughts on them are, I think airbags are a useful tool that can help riders reduce their risk of injury, providing them the opportunity to get more tries of their tricks, which in turn helps them build the confidence and skill sets required to land those tricks. So I want you to know, if you have the opportunity to ride an airbag, I think you should consider it, because it's a fun way to help you progress your snowboarding. That said, I would like to add that they are not risk-free. I've broken my collarbone before and given myself some mild concussions, and I've also seen much worse injuries throughout the years. So it's just like any tool. You should respect them and use them in a responsible way. I also highly recommend focusing on the fundamentals of snowboarding first and fostering your love for it on snow before pushing for that extra rotation into the bag. Now, do I think airbags are going to destroy the soul of snowboarding? No, I don't. I think the snowboard community is too strong to be destroyed by something like that, and unlike in many other sports, the majority of its soul exists outside of the competitive realm. Now, I would like to mention some of the negative impacts airbags can have on snowboarding. Number one, they can lead to some bad habits in the way that you do your tricks. And then two, on a more macro scale, snowboarding is already a very expensive sport, and its barrier of entry is too high for most of the world. This is compounded in competitive snowboarding, which from my experience, the rider pool is already shrinking. And if riding airbags becomes a necessity to be competitive, that may shrink it even more. This would be bad for snowboarding as a whole. But overall, I think airbags will have a net positive impact on snowboarders by providing them the opportunity to land the tricks that they've always dreamt of. Because let me tell you, that's pretty fun.
Yeah, because like it's a double-edged sword because there is a point where snowboarding has already become like pay to win. The more you can chain an airbag, the more money you can spend flying to Australia and New Zealand, the more you can snowboard. If you're snowboarding 365 days versus 50, you have a better chance. You know, there's like those like challenges of it. Airbags can be super cool. Like for like, let's just say non-competitive. For somebody like me, I would love, in all transparency, I'm a 36-year-old snowboarder who's broken his back, 2 hip surgeries, wrist surgeries, blah, blah, blah. If I can go learn a trick with minimizing the risk of injury, that's pretty sick, right? I can go do there, learn some tricks. Will I ever put it on snow? Maybe, maybe not. But like, that's a cool snowboard experience for me. I think that's really sick. The challenging thing is a lot of these airbag places are not really accessible just for general public because it can be dangerous if you're not at a certain level. Like there is a barrier to entry to like be successful and safe in them, relatively safe. But there's been some like gnarly accidents, gnarly injuries in airbags and stuff. So you definitely like, there's definitely its place, but it's also like pushing the sport so far that if I have a kid, to him to catch up is like so gnarly. So gnarly. This video's almost over.
Okay, back to the boarding. On day 3, we got into things even faster. We got it back 10, and then we went for some 12s.
I love this song.
I got this 12 here, and it felt like my closest one yet. But I knew this was our last day here, and that my time was limited. So even though it wasn't quite right, I
It's like
decided
all
to move on
rotating.
to switchback 10. I worked my way up to it by starting with a switchback
Oh,
5, then a 7,
okay.
and then a 9. And it was kind of scary spinning switch off this takeoff because if I drifted to the right, I could find myself off the bag and into a pile of rocks.
Okay, that's a good point. Imagine drifting off going in a pile of rocks, but his switchback side is so clean and so good. I understand the fear because like I've been on airbags and like imagine like here's your airbag slope and you start on this side, but you have to spin this way. You have this much leniency, which is absolutely terrifying. And the more you think about not doing something, the more you do it. If you're playing golf, you're like, don't hit it in the water. What do? You hit it in the water. So I totally understand that, but also this dude's switchback is so good.
But I was feeling good on my board, so I decided to go for the 10. I love that fall. But this one left me with a spark that I knew I could do it. And then on my last hit, I landed it. Now, I'm
Pretty sick. Pretty
still a far ways
sick.
away from being able to say that I've done this trick. I've got to take it to snow before I can say that. But I'm one step closer now, which makes me really excited.
I love what he said there. This last line was like, I'm one step closer, but I don't own this trick. And I think like this dude's very respectable. He's really understands like a lot of the snowboarding, which I like, obviously he's a snowboarder. Like obviously he understands that, but it's also cool. He's like, it's one step closer. And because I did it, doesn't mean I did it. To truly own something, you got to put it on snow, but you got to be able to do it like 3 times in a row. Like there's certain things like I love like, hey, I love his voice. Like it just makes me want to listen to more of his videos because he like got a good presentation voice, but pretty sick.
Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
All right, well, follow his channel. He is here's his channel right here, Stevens. He's a Whistler dude, pretty sick. Dude, sick video. I like that. I like that. Let's go back to some of your chickadee chat questions. What do we got in here? Crystal, what's up? Let's go. Last season Mountain High, I was having trouble with different things. I would take a break and watch a video and do it on the mountain. Many tips I've learned from your video. No way, that's freaking sick. And we also got a donation from Ice Coast, dude, with a $2 donation. You're GOD. Can I have a spin? Abso-freaking-lutely. Appreciate your patience on that. You get a free spin, which just means you didn't lose, but you didn't win. It says, do you know what's grabbed today? Crystal, let's go. That's freaking sick. I'm so stoked that you use the content. And like we were talking about it earlier, there's a dude's like, I'll sit in my car and I didn't want to snowboard anymore. And then your video popped up and made me go back out and snowboard. And you like commented that. And I was like, that's so cool. I was like so pumped on that kind of stuff. Like that's the reason I create this content. Kong says, I feel like airbags should be treated like bikes, scooters, and snowboard, to use them to learn something, but not to do everything on. especially from the start. Totally. At the end of the day, you still got to be a good snowboarder, which I think is super cool. Greater forces at play in every trick means a greater risk flooring in general. Push it further and faster, otherwise you... And that's the crazy thing. Like, at the end of the day, like, the snowboard, like, level is, like, so gnarly competitive anyways. You know what I mean? It's pretty freaking crazy. All right, well, I'm going to end that there. I've actually been live streaming for 2 hours and 10 minutes. But let me know in the comments if you guys, do you guys like the video review and my input? I see a lot of the people that I like to watch in different realms do this, and I think it's kind of cool because like it's a little bit of a different insight type stuff. But let me know, is it sick? Is it lame? Let me know. I can definitely find some videos. Also, if the videos aren't that sick, I'm just gonna like try to find only sick videos. Like, I don't know. Yo, Jabril, appreciate you, dog. The content taught me everything. I was kind of sad because I thought my brother who rides would help me more. But honestly, the videos helped me get so far so fast. Let's go. Let's go. That's what we love to hear. Jabril, you like that? Because I was wondering if we should start the live streams like that. Because like I want the live streams for people to like come vibe, come hang out and engage. And some people don't like the Q&As. And so I'm trying to find like all their ways to get people like into it. So definitely appreciate your guys' insight. And if you hate it, tell me. If you love it, tell me. Because I don't really know unless you guys let me know. But I am gonna end that there, dudes. We've been going for a while, so I'm gonna end that. Appreciate you. Let me know in the comments below, or like comment on the video after this is done. Yeah, I appreciate you all for vibing and hanging out with me. It was an absolutely fantastic time, and yeah, we've been at it for a while. It's like sending you a video and then catching up later. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Also, yeah, but all at once. I was also thinking about doing more stuff where people like submit their videos and we can do a video breakdown if that's something that people are interested in. So yeah, trying to figure out some stuff, just trying to make this like as awesome as possible. So on that note, love you guys. Peace out. Bye. Boom. Yeah.